What's going on, everyone? Anthony here, and welcome back to another edition of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast. And we're back. It's been a couple months since September. We did the Resident Evil 3 retrospective show, so go check that out if you haven't listened to it yet. It is all of our back catalog on YouTube, as well as iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever you want to call it now, Spotify, Libsyn. All those episodes are there. And that's where you can download the episode of the podcast if you don't feel like watching the full video version on YouTube, but a lot of people do, as we put some footage in the background and whatnot. But we last recorded in September. We did a Resident Evil 3 retrospective show, not knowing that the Resident Evil 3 news would be so soon. And it's great, because now we're actually, seeing a lot more on it. We're really stoked. We're really excited. And that's what you're about to hear in this podcast. We obviously did a lot of news coverage on this thing, as we still are covering Resident Evil 3 second to second, it seems like. So this is one show that pretty much has everything that you need to know so far, with the news that's come out, with the information that's come out. We also respond to some of the comments and stuff that we've gotten, because we've had time to reply to your comments and talk to the community on YouTube and really pick your guys' brain to see what you're thinking. So we wanted to wait a week to record this, post Resident Evil 3 being, announced and everything, to kind of let it sink in and to have a really in-depth discussion, a lengthy discussion, not like a shorter video, just kind of, going through it. So it is our time to report on this and talk about it, because we're really excited. And as you guys know, it's my favorite game of all time, and I couldn't be more happy to see everything and the positive reaction from the fans, and even just the response on our channel has been incredible. And we talk more about that in the show, of how thankful and grateful we are for all of you guys that are listening. This February is going to be 10 years on the channel, and, this past October, 7 years since we actually made the podcast, and we made the podcast a thing. It's one of those things where it's like every listen and every interaction that you guys give us helps us a lot, and you guys are really, involved in the community down below. So obviously don't forget to drop a like, comment down below what you think of the show, what you think of Resident Evil 3. And this is a really fun one. We actually have one of two shows coming out. This is just the first one, because we are going to be kicking off Let's Talk Resident Evil, the podcast, in a strong way. Because in 2020, we're going to promise you, 2 episodes a month. But we're not waiting until 2020 to give you that. We're giving it to you now. So it's December 16th as of this recording, as I stated in the actual episode that you're about to hear. So you're going to be getting this show, and then possibly before, or maybe after Christmas, depending on how it goes, you'll get the Resident Evil Likes and Dislikes podcast, where we talk about our favorite thing and our least favorite thing from each game. That is already in the can, and it's pretty much in the oven. It's almost ready to go. But we wanted to put this show out first, because Resident Evil 3 is the main topic of discussion right now in the community. So let's get right into it.
This is RPD Officer Leon Kennedy, and you're listening to the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast. I'm Anthony.
And I'm John.
And we're here to talk about very exciting news. If you've been following the channel, you know we've been putting out a series of videos keeping you in the loop with everything Resident Evil 3 since the leaks. But now we decided, after about a week of everything happening and everything settling, that we are now giving you a one contained podcast of everything that you need to know, everything that we have so far in the pre-release of Resident Evil 3 Remake. And it is December 16th as of this recording, so everything that we have jotted down note-wise and info-wise is up until the information that we have at this point in time. So obviously anything after the fact, we will follow this up. And it's been a hectic last couple of weeks of us getting these leaks and getting this information to you guys. But we are actually here. I never thought that I lived to see the day that this actually becomes a reality. But yes, Resident Evil 3 is being remade, and it is confirmed by Capcom. So we didn't really want to do anything until we got the information, we got the trailers, we got the gameplay to look at, and all that good stuff. We've been definitely busy on our end.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we knew this day was coming.
It was just a matter of when.
It was a matter of when. We had some sort of kind of information that the game was in development, like official information, but we didn't really have any window of when it was going to be released.
Yeah, people were saying November 2020, people were saying September 2020, and this really will get us started here with what we have. And the leaks were the first thing to come out.
Yeah, when it leaked on the European or PAL version,
Right, on the PSN
store, that was when like we pretty much knew like it was coming quick.
Yeah, as soon as we woke up that morning and we saw the artwork and we saw Nemesis and Jill and Carlos, many people thought it was fake, thought it was, manufactured, and it was, a ploy to the fans. No, this seemed real. It seemed to match up. As soon as we saw Jill and Carlos and we saw Nemesis, it seemed to match up with the same exact art style as Resident Evil 2, to where it made people say, yeah, this isn't fake. This looks like just something that accidentally got quote-unquote leaked early. And, we knew that the state of play was coming. Well, actually, at the time of the leak, we didn't know state of play was going to happen on this particular day. We just knew that the Game Awards was coming up, because we previously did a video talking about the Game Awards. And then as soon as we got the leak and we got two different shots, the front cover, and then we got the Z edition with Nemesis, that's when people were like, okay, this is how I feel about Nemesis, this is how I feel about Jill. But before we even get into that, the leaks started to happen. And then after the leaks started to happen, we made videos on it. And then it seemed more leaks happened that a potential release date would happen in March because of the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, the website, base.com, I think it was.
Base.com it was, yeah. And we did a video on that. So we were giving you guys these, we're trying to keep you guys in the loop. And again, people were saying it was fake. It was speculation, of course.
Lots of comments.
Lots of comments. A lot of you guys that listen to us and watch us believed us and were with us every step of the way.
For sure.
And, people were like, it can't be out this early.
No, it can't release with Final Fantasy VII.
Can't release with Final Fantasy VII. Can't release with all these other games that are coming out.
Yep.
Yeah, Last of Us 2.
The Last of Us 2.
It's stupid of them to do that. No,
which is all not true.
Right. And the thing is that as soon as we knew that it could potentially be March or first quarter, that's what it ended up being after the fact. But again, we were just waiting, and we were waiting for state of play.
Yeah, and you know what? I do want to comment on one thing. With the whole state of play, we knew going into the state of play, I would say confidently, I don't know, probably 99.8% sure it was gonna be announced. I think after a couple days of the original hype for us thinking it was going to be at the Game Awards, that pretty much died completely.
Right.
It didn't make sense to release it at the Game Awards, especially when Resident Evil 2 was going to get cucked.
It completely got snubbed.
Yeah, and when it gets
big time,
and when one of your series gets snubbed, announcing another one's kind of a bad look.
Right.
So, hats off to Sekiro and all that, but that's not what this is about. My point for that was, like, we knew going in. And for those of you who believed us,
and watched it with us, because
we had a great turnout.
Yeah.
And shout out to all you guys who stopped by for that.
And you listened to us peeking the mic and screaming and yelling, because we did cut a reaction and lowered the audio because we were screaming. We have no compressor at the moment, but we were excited. I mean, this is, this excitement, even recording this show right now, I'm still really excited to talk about it, because it's just a great, it's a great thing. It is a great time to be a Resident Evil fan. We've been saying that on the channel recently, but
it's like
it really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
Great.
From RE2, man, like this whole year, like now that I'm looking at 2019, I'm thinking about it in the rear view and like how it started, and Resident Evil 2 is a definitive moment, of this year that stood out for us, like a highlight.
And that was the beginning of the year.
And that was the beginning of the year, was when we were trying to deliver the content. And then there's this kind of gap in between everything. But now that the news is rolling out and that there's still more stuff to look forward to, which is great. I think, like, because now we can really say, hey, like, they're giving us the stuff, they're listening to the fans. And, again, how we liked RE2, like, there's no reason why this one wouldn't be coming out so soon. And, we're obviously very confident that the way this information was given to us was, the best way to go about it. And they did it the best way, and the promotion's great, and they've been asking for fan feedback. And so this podcast is really going to dive into our feedback, what we think, and obviously you guys are free to comment down below or message us on whatever device you want and let us know what you think as well. But the state of play was the big announcement day, and that's when we got the actual reveal trailer. So
Yes.
it was a reveal trailer. So like Resident Evil 2 being revealed, this one was able to show just enough to get us really hungry for Resident Evil 3. And they didn't really show much of Nemesis. Kind of, sort of, and obviously with the chasing and stuff like that. But, the main thing here is when we saw the trailer itself, we'll have like a little breakdown of that, for you. But the trailer, we were just ecstatic. We were really into it, and we were really trying to decipher everything, which you can't first time around, which is why we did a trailer breakdown for you on the channel. And since then, we've been watching it. We've been taking notes. We've been listening to your comments, replying to your thoughts and everything that you guys have brought to the table. So that's why before we did this show, we wanted to make sure that we took a step back, took a week to kind of take it all in and, give you something that is a great pre-release show leading up to it. And that same day with the State of Play, we also got a developer's note, which also went into a little bit of the gameplay that they showed us.
And they showed us a little bit. And really quick, before we start getting into the nitty-gritty of the developer's note and State of Play, just, our overall opinions of the trailer and such.
Yeah.
Great engagement in the community. I just want to give a quick thank you to everybody who has been watching and supporting us since the beginning. And a quick thank you to everybody who's going to be listening to this podcast for the first time. Welcome aboard to Let's Talk Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And we look forward to your continued support.
Yes, and we've been doing this podcast for 7 years, the channel going on 10 in February.
For sure.
And, this is probably, I think this is episode 48 or 49. We don't really number them as much anymore, but we've done a lot. And,
for sure.
The series has gone through peaks and valleys over the years. And, so far this has been, a great upswing for them. And we're really ecstatic to talk about it tonight.
So let's start with the trailer. Quick analysis. What are your thoughts going in with the trailer as far as how you felt it was presented, how you felt it was effective?
Well, I think the presentation of it was really cool. I like the fact that we were kind of fooled into thinking Resistance was that we're being shown Resistance, and they said the campaign portion of Resistance. I don't think anyone was expecting that. In regards to being connected to Resident Evil 3, though.
Yeah,
none of us predicted it would be connected. We predicted it'd be an add-on to something, but we weren't thinking it was going to be an add-on to Resident Evil 3. If anything, we thought it was going to be an add-on to Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, we thought for early on for sure that it was going to be DLC. It was not going to be its own standalone game.
Because we didn't see a case, we didn't get a price. Like, we were up in the air. And
it also didn't feel like something that would sell as a standalone game.
Exactly.
I'm actually super surprised that it's free.
Right.
With the purchase of RE3. I would imagine it was going to be like a $20
paid
DLC.
You're spending $60. You don't have to spend $80 to also get Resistance. You get Resistance no matter what copy you buy of Resident Evil 3. And so that's a great point to bring up. But my initial thought was, okay, the presentation was great. Obviously, the way that they tied it all into Resident Evil 2, I like that. They showed the clock winding back, confirming that this is still staying consistent with that story, with how it takes place before and then after. And I like that because we didn't want them to really change that. And the first thing that I saw from my impressions from it were the graphics were incredible. This is, made from 4K from the ground up, and the RE engine has never looked any better.
With HDR in mind.
Yeah, with HDR in mind. Play it on the Pro, play it on the X, play it on, your PC on the best settings. You're going to get a great experience. And my first thing that I took away from it was, I think, Jill being my favorite character and this being my favorite game of all time. I mean, she stole the show for me. As soon as I saw her turn around, like, we screamed and yelled on camera, but in my head I was like, they fucking nailed it. Because people were we just talked about, the leaked images. We didn't really want to harp on the images because we got the trailer so soon after, but just before the trailer, people were very critical of Jill from what I've seen, and also Nemesis. But again, we'll talk about each individual thing. But with the initial
going as far as saying that Jill was a transgender woman.
Right.
That's how how critical people were on the new designs, which, as we mentioned in another show that we did, or another episode of whatever we did, they looked very goofy, kind of like when Resident Evil 2 got announced, like Leon and Claire looked like a different style than what was in the finished product. Because the art on the front is done by an artist who is clearly not the same artist who's drawing and making them in graphical engines. But to see her in 3D,
like moving.
it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like her design is great. It's the best Jill that we've ever gotten.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that I pulled from the trailer that like blew my mind was just like everyone looks so fucking good.
Everybody looked so good,
and
especially like Mikhail.
I was about to say, yeah, just him like
he just looks better.
Right.
He looks so much more like what you would expect him to look like.
now.
Yeah, even Nikolai looked great
Right.
from what we saw from him.
A bleeding heart like you.
A bleeding heart. Yeah, exactly. He like, but they all look like their own characters, but they still look reminiscent of the originals.
Yeah. And that's what stood out to me. Like that was my biggest like positive takeaway from the trailer was like everything looks so good and the environments look like amazing and they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, the only real, shocker, which we'll get into when we talk about like the characters more, but the only person who changed a lot was Carlos.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of people who are really opinionated on the change with Carlos, but we'll get to that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But
so
yeah, your initial
so my initial thoughts, I remember when Resident Evil 2 Remake got revealed and it was in first person. And I remember hearing the struggle going on in the background while the rat was running around. And I knew it was Resident Evil 2. Like, I just knew in my heart. Like, it was Resident Evil 2, and I was finally getting to see it.
PS1 and shit.
Once I saw the PS1, I knew it was Resident Evil 2. I think the way they handled the trailer by going back to first person is genius. Because not only are you in the eyes of somebody, you can hear her breathing. So it gives you a lot of clues that, hey, this is probably Jill. This is probably Resident Evil 3. And we're finally revealing it officially.
And you can kind of see Nemesis,
and you can kind of see Nemesis, but he kind of looks like Mr. X, so a lot of people thought he was. And then you can kind of see when Jill falls that she has like a blue shirt.
And that's where we're like, it's Jill.
That's when I knew it was Jill. That's when I knew it was Resident Evil 3. Actually, the caution tape is when I knew it was Resident Evil 3, which I think they put there on purpose. But the cool thing was definitely the fact that you didn't know 100% that it was Jill.
Right.
Until she rolled out of the building and hit the wall.
And you saw her blue shirt.
And then she turned around.
And you hear Brad, he's like, Jill!
Yeah, you knew it was Resident Evil as soon as you saw Nemi.
Yes.
As soon as you saw Nemesis behind her, like, even if it was Mr. X...
You can assume that it was Resident Evil, yeah.
Yeah, when we knew it was Resident Evil. When we first saw the trailer, we actually missed him saying stars when he lands. I thought I heard something, but I didn't make it out.
And we were very excited.
So we were very excited and screaming.
Yeah.
So when we went back and rewatched it, and he said stars, like we knew it was Nemesis. Really positive with the way they did the trailer. I thought it was even better than the RE2 trailer. I think it was of similar caliber, honestly. I think like the original Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. These games are going to be so close and so hand in hand that whenever I play them, I'm going to feel like I'm playing the same game. They look incredible.
Right.
They both look the same.
They're probably going to feel the same.
They're going to feel the same. Maybe, with the dodge mechanic being back, it'll be something a little cooler. I feel like they're so close together and we're getting so much so quick. I'm just really excited. My final thoughts on the trailer, it's a 10 out of 10 trailer.
Yeah.
The way they cut it, you can kind of tell, hopefully, that the audio that's being said is not what's actually being said in some of the scenes. Like Brad's lip sync was way off. Like when he's like, he's got a hard-on for the only 2 stars members left in town. He's not saying that in whatever he's doing.
Right. It's like a movie where they
overdub the trailer. And I like that because Resident Evil, no matter how you cut it, and I'm a story first person, most of our viewers know that, is a B movie.
Right.
Like it's funny.
Right.
And it's not just funny, but it also has serious moments and it's a very cinematic experience. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that we're over the shoulder now.
Yeah, I think after playing Resident Evil 2 and
I'm
seeing
sold.
how well they've done it, yeah.
And
I think I was sold with how Mr. X was handled in Resident Evil 2 from that behind the back perspective because my way was like my original way. And, I'm not going to try to avoid that I said this at one point, but, I was like, there's no way that they can do Resident Evil 3 without the fixed camera angles and having Nemesis being that scary. And when I played Resident Evil 2, I, ate my words a little bit because I was able to actually see that, perspective happen. And, I was able to actually see how it handles the chasing and the hard combat that you could run into. And, it's just going to be heightened with Nemesis now. So, I think I was sold after Resident Evil 2. I think Resident Evil 2 kind of solidified that, where I can, I can kind of try to, relax on the whole, it's not fixed camera angles anymore. Even though I still prefer Remake over Remake 2. But, again, I have my reasons for that, not just because it sums up a traditional classic Resident Evil. Will this be my favorite game? Who knows? This might be, because it might be the best version of Resident Evil 3 known to date and how it plays. But again, I have to play it. But, it's that's why Resident Evil 2, blew us away, because we're like, fuck, man, this is how Resident Evil 7 should have been because it was so good. You know what I mean? And again, people will be like, no, it's fine first person. But, Resident Evil to me is not first person, man. It's just not.
I think that...
and they shouldn't do it.
As time goes on, I don't care what gameplay it is. I don't think fixed camera angles or over the shoulder or even first person is what's detrimental to one of the games. I think it's all in the storytelling. It's all in the connections. It's all in how close it feels to the other ones is what's detrimental, if that's not good. Resident Evil 7 handles and plays fine. But as a Resident Evil title with story and its connections to the other games,
it's a jumbled mess.
It has Chris Redfield, who looks like, Vince the ShamWow guy. And it has
he's working for
White
Blue
Umbrella,
yeah.
or Blue Umbrella. It mentions, I think, White Umbrella or
yeah.
Blue or whatever. Yeah, but you know what? It's a Resident Evil game for some people. Some people like it.
And it got some people into the series to play 2. It exposed people to 2, I guess.
I actually know somebody who played 7, which was the first Resident Evil game they ever played. Then they went on and played Remake 2, and they actually liked Remake 2 better. That's cool.
Right.
And Resident Evil 7 is a pivotal moment in the Resident Evil franchise because without it, we wouldn't get a new wave of fans. We wouldn't have gotten the budget to make Remake 2. We probably wouldn't have gotten the budget to make Remake 3. We probably wouldn't have gotten the budget to make Remake or Resident Evil 8.
And Resident Evil 2 just sold 5 million, by the way. It passed the 5 million mark. That's a milestone.
It sold 5 million for a remake. And I think that it's important to remember that, you were talking about, is this going to be your favorite game of all time? Is this going to beat Resident Evil 3? As somebody who just went through it with their favorite game of all time, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not.
Right.
No matter how good this game is,
right.
Resident Evil 3 Nemesis will still be your favorite game of all time.
Game. Right.
However, the other thing you said was, will this be the best version of Resident Evil 3? No. It will be a different version, because Resident Evil 2 Remake is not the best version of Resident Evil 2. It's its own thing, because they're remakes.
Right.
They're not remasters. And I think that is the coolest part about being in our position where our favorite games are being remade.
We get to experience them all over again in a different light.
And the originals aren't going anywhere.
They're still there.
We can still play them. And
we've said that since RE2 came out.
I do feel a certain way about them dropping Nemesis from the title.
Right.
But I do think that it deserves it.
I do wish they kept it in a sense. It's not like, that's a little nitpick. It's not like it's not the end of the world, so I'm not trying to make it seem like...
I think this is my prediction, and we don't have early access to the game or anything, so no. I don't know. But I think a cool way to nod to the fans that it is Nemesis would be to change the word from hardcore mode to Nemesis mode. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to do that, but that would be one thing that would be pretty cool.
Right, yeah.
I'm just really excited because this will be my favorite version of Resident Evil 3. Because I think that this is going to do everything that I have a problem with the original with way better. My hope is that, unlike Remake 2, I hope this game does what Resident Evil 3 does better too. That was my biggest problem with the remake, is that they didn't fix all the problems I have with the original. And hopefully with this one, they're going to fix the only problem I have with 3, which is the pacing and the story kind of just seems empty. It looks like that they're doing that, and we're going to see more of the Outbreak in the initial stages.
Just
we're going to get more story.
And the gameplay, it seems like we're getting that.
I mean, even like, we're part of Capcom's PR. We've gotten fact sheets and stuff that the public get access to, and they even say in those, fact sheets that the game is going to start at the early stages of the outbreak.
Yeah, the early stages.
That's like way better than what we get in the original game.
Where
like,
shit's
that's a
already
day.
hit the fan.
That's a whole day that they have to tell more stories. If you're looking at some of the screenshots, you can even see like a lot of the screenshots. I think there's two or three screenshots that you can actually see the RPD building in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing you that we like it's really cool to see how they barricaded the RPD off with all of the officer zombies. Now, while they're screenshots, concept arts from the game, whichever, these seem to be from within the game.
Right.
It's cool to see more. My biggest complaint with RE3 Nemesis is that we never saw enough. It felt like Code Veronica to
there
me.
There was technological limitations.
Exactly. There's
so
technological
it's like,
limitations.
Now that's all out the window.
But even without the technological limitations, they didn't vocally tell a lot because there were so few. I mean, there's a lot of characters, but it's not as narrative driven as 2 was.
Right.
3 was more action driven, which is completely fine. It just was my biggest problem with the game. I still love the original, and I'll still play the original.
Mm-hmm.
It was just my biggest problem with it, man.
Right.
And I'm excited for the chance to fix it. I'm really excited for the chance to fix it. I'm excited for the chance to go forward. When I say fix, I don't mean the original's broken. I just mean, I want to clarify. I just mean that it's their time. These remakes are the time to fix everything that's wrong with the story, and everything that is lacking can be fed more.
Right.
I'm not saying Nemesis is a bad game. I'm just saying, like Remake 2, this has the opportunity to just be better. And it would be awesome. It's more cinematic, dude. It's more, like you said, the technological limitations that were on the original aren't on this one. And we see civilians running around and stuff. Like, I'm super excited.
Right. No, I am too. I'm excited to see that. I think that's one thing that I took away from the trailer and the gameplay was, you're seeing more of the panic and the anxiety-ridden city of everyone running away and, not being able to, handle everything, and Jill being, in surveillance and not being able to leave while all this is happening. We're going to be able to experience some of that and play some of that, and it will fill in some of those holes that, well, how did this person get here? Or, how much time has gone by? We might feel that time in the story. And so some people might be like, well, it might be slower in the beginning, or, it might be the very start of the outbreak, but I want to see that. Like, I want to see interaction with Jill and, Irons, or some kind of altercation. I want to see that stuff kind of leading into it. And all of what I saw from the reveal onward was just really getting me excited for all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and
you even have Brad.
Yeah, Brad saying, no, he's got a hard on for,
Well, not just that, but he's also evacuating people.
Right, yeah.
Like, he's actually doing police work.
Yeah, and then he has the lip sync. He's got a hard on for only 2 Stars members left in town, which is cool because, again, we'll see Brad kind of amidst that. Like, he seems to be scared, and I'm sure he's going to be scared, but, like, in 3, he's literally just, like, running away from you, and it's like, why would he do that to his comrade instead of, like, chilling out and talking to her and, like, trying to help civilians? Because, like, they are, part of the force. Like, they need to actually, like, help. But instead, Brad was, like, fending for himself, so that'd be kind of cool to, like, see him, like, help Jill out with survivors, or maybe there's a section where you guys are trying to, like, direct survivors in one direction, and then, like, some shit happens and you guys get separated, because there's got, like, he calls out for Jill in the trailer, but then it's like, if that's not in the beginning, or if it's a little bit after the beginning, because what we looked at in the developer's note didn't look like the beginning. It could have been the beginning. It could have been, because there's still shit hitting the fan. But if it starts, like, amidst before the outbreak, wherever that starts, I think it'll be a really good starting point for it, and we already have 2 as, like, kind of like, all right, we expect you to play 2, so that kind of eases you into everything. It's like, we know this already. So, I hope that the pacing's all there.
Also,
and everything else is all there,
Yeah, while you're on that note talking about that, I did want to say one thing. We did get some comments about our opinion on that and how it could be the beginning of the game. A lot of people are pointing out that like at that point in the game she has her side pack. So it's probably, or no, they didn't say probably. They said it is later in the game. I just want you guys to remember when Resident Evil 2 was being unveiled, we did not see Leon in his casual clothes, I think, at all.
No.
We only saw him in his RPD outfit. In the demo, he's already in his RPD outfit. Things change, my guys and gals. That could be the beginning of the game. And like I said, I know I'm stuck on it, and I know it's silly, but when the camera pans over and that zombie is shown to you like it is a threat, it is the first one you see, I feel like it's the beginning of the game. Even if she has her side pack, that doesn't mean that she's going to have it in the official release when you're there.
Right.
That could change.
Right.
She could be in, they could be just showing you stuff to keep you well, when's this going to take place? They don't care. They could just be throwing a model in there.
Right. But I mean, it's one of those things where, again, like they can really start it anywhere, but I think it'll be cool, like, if we get some really cool opening shots, like, of them in the city, like, again, right before shit hits the fan, but you also find out why Jill's in the position she's in versus just seeing her there, but we're pretty much talking about that in a second, but, yeah, I mean, trailer impressions and takeaways, I mean, everything was great. We did see the gameplay as well, where the developers were talking about, and I wanted to bring up some of these points, about, keeping it, the redesign of Jill, keeping it more action-based, but the redesign of Jill and Carlos was the main thing because of the outbreak and situation is the reason why they said they changed it from the developers themselves. So we're going to talk about those points too, because, what they said is kind of giving us an impression as to where their headspace is at. So obviously, if you pre-order the game, as you guys know or don't know, you do get the mini skirt for Jill and the old school outfit for Carlos with his old haircut and everything. But them changing her outfit, I don't mind this.
No,
I think she looks cool. I think she has, the blue theme. She still has kind of like, a blue, it's kind of like a tank top. She also has like a tactical pants and stuff like that. It looks like she still has the boots, combat boots. She doesn't have like the long like dress boots or whatever, which is fine because again, it's there. But they also brought up RE3 being more action-oriented. And this is a main thing because the original Resident Evil 3 was, again, kind of more action-oriented. And it had those different elements. So something that they kept in mind when making this game to make it stand out so it's not just too samey is making it more action. Obviously, you have, Nemesis. You have, possible explosions, stuff like that. Explosive barrels and stuff is what I mean when I say that.
Yeah,
but, interactables and stuff. But I think that's important because, again, it's sticking to the original Resident Evil 3. And as we know, they even mentioned in that same video, in that announcement, is that they're keeping the camera and the gameplay the same because of the positive RE2 response.
Yes.
So you heard what I just said. Positive RE2 response. It was really important for them to listen to us to say, hey, if it didn't fucking work, you would have to change it. But RE2 was so well, and obviously they knew it would go over so well, that they kept it the same. And if they're making this game alongside 2, I could see that, them just kind of sticking with that and then saying it after the fact. But it is, seems to be a fact that our response does matter, and everyone loved Resident Evil 2. Nobody complained about that. So besides pre-release, before people got their hands on it and they realized, oh, hey, it works the way it should work.
We were skeptical before it came out, then we played the demo, and I think I remember we played the demo, and the next conversation we had about Resident Evil was me saying, Anthony, this fucking works.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, yeah, dude, it kind of does.
Yeah, it does.
And it was really, it was just a really awesome feeling that all of the worry that we did have was taken away.
It was out the window.
And I
entirely.
think I think we grew as Resident Evil fans that day because even like going into Resistance, when Resistance was being announced and everything.
A few months ago, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't lead it with negativity. That time we led it with an open mind. Like, let's see what they have before we shoot it down.
Right, exactly. And we, unfortunately, still up until this date, we didn't get to play it like some of our listeners and subscribers out there who have given us feedback. But like what John said, we didn't lead it with a negative notion. It was one of those things where, we were like, hey, let's just see what they can do. And with RE2 and staying, open-minded about it and everything that, kind of led up to this point, it's the best modern Resident Evil game in the past 10 years. We can easily say, closing out this decade, that Resident Evil 2 was the takeaway of the best quintessential Resident Evil game for all old fans and new,
mechanically, graphically,
right,
and
fired on all cylinders.
Voice acting wise,
right,
this game was the best.
Yeah.
The only thing it was missing, which Remake even suffers from, was a consistent continuity. And when the best Resident Evil game ever made, like voted upon, Resident Evil Remake, when it shares the same weakness as the Remake 2, they did a pretty fucking good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it is what it is, guys. Like, if you don't see that for what it is, that's your opinion, and that's perfectly fine. We're not here to argue. But Remake 2 is the best Resident Evil since Remake. It's just a fact.
Yeah, I think we can easily say that.
Like, it's just a fact.
Right. And
what's that, 15, 16 years later?
Right.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been.
2002 to 2019, that's 18? No, 17 years.
Yeah.
17 fucking years.
Yeah, and we finally
Although Zero was pretty much just the same as Remake, minus some minor flaws. But, like, even if you added that, that's 16 years.
Right.
16 fucking years. Dude.
Right. And we finally got it, and now we're getting this so soon. But also the last note here for the developer's note that happened, again, the same day as the trailer, to kind of keep you on this path that we're going for this show. They also, the dodge mechanic we saw. We did peep the dodge mechanic in our gameplay reaction. We did talk about it briefly, but it does seem to be shown. It looks very similar to the Revelations 2 dodge.
Yes.
Where you can kind of like weave in and out real quick.
Which I'm cool with. It's like a juke.
Yeah. And if Jill can do it more because of her abilities and her skill level, great. I'm happy to see it make a return, even if it's a subtle or major thing that they add in there.
They'll probably do a soft cap.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe, and then
it'll be like every 10 seconds you can activate it.
Or then maybe with Nemesis they might make it a little bit different. Like, we'll see. We haven't really played it yet, and still up until this point there's no like demo announcement or anything like that. But here's hoping we at least get something to kind of like see how it feels. But it looks like it is here to stay, and it has a couple different ways of again having some of those mechanics in there. The way that they made them in Resident Evil 2, where you didn't have a dodge, but you can kind of turn your character to the side and kind of weave in and out. It's similar to that, but she's like actually moving her body to where the enemy is, like away from it. So it's a little bit different. But hopefully once we have our hands on it, we'll see how it plays. And that's all I have for the developers' commentary on the gameplay. We didn't see much. We only saw like flashbacks of gameplay while they were talking about it. So but
yeah, for the developers, just to kind of round that out with the dodge mechanic, I have a few speculation, like a few little points I wanted to bring up, because the dodge mechanic definitely looks like it's there. The dodge mechanic is coming back.
Yeah.
I'm interested because she seems to dodge before the zombie is a threat, so it's definitely probably on demand. I'm guessing the way that they're going to balance it is there's going to be some soft locking to it, so you can't just repeatedly do it.
Right.
I also think that enemies in this game are going to have two variants. I think some of them will be like Resident Evil 2, but the rate at which the zombies get really fast is probably going to be increased.
Right.
Other enemies are probably going to be really fast. I would imagine with dodging, they're probably going to make the zombie dogs more aggressive.
I would like if they deliberately made those enemies faster, like they were in 3. How fucking fast they were! Like
some of them, yeah,
you can tell they were like a step
like
up.
Whenever there was a zombie, you had like it was 50-50. Like this one was fast, this one was normal.
Right.
This one was fast, this one was normal,
Right.
and that's what they should do.
Yeah.
If they're going to introduce a dodge, they have to balance it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be cake. It's already too cake to run through Resident Evil 2. Imagine running through Resident Evil 2 with a dodge mechanic.
Oh yeah.
It's just not going to. Nothing's going to be
right. So there has to be some kind of balance there. That's an important
and
thing
I
to
think
bring up.
With Nemesis too, if he is going to be getting tentacles and stuff, I find it interesting. They're probably going to make him have unavoidable attacks, where even if you dodge, you still get grabbed. just like in the original,
Right.
where she dodges and gets grabbed anyway. So I'm pretty interested to see that. We don't want to like wait too much on that,
Right.
but there's just some speculations.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
But, after we got the gameplay developer's note, there was some other news that were coming out, like, right after, like, literally days after, and it was, some Easter eggs, we had some leaked screenshots. There was a Resident Evil 2 achievement that was listed a little while ago. I did a video on it, live action video, talking about potential Resident Evil 2 DLC. Was it going to be a DLC? Was it going to be multiple achievements? Well, this turned out to be one achievement. And it's called Chasing Jill. And what they did was they rolled out an update, and apparently the update for Steam is coming out on PC this week for this. But they did add a little Easter egg in Resident Evil 2. 2 Easter eggs. This is the first one. The same week of the announcement. And, of course,
Which makes sense, because they would have just hacked it.
Right,
if
exactly.
they put it up early.
Right, and we didn't want to not talk about it, which is also why we waited a little bit to do this show in the break of all the news. But, well, this is actually funny because the day John, you can chime in on this. We woke up that day, and we knew we did a video on the leaked achievement because that did come out. That
Yes.
was something that was posted. People saw it on Steam ahead of time, but we did not. And I tell you, we did not notice anything. The night before I texted John. I was like, check your version of Resident Evil. Was anything updated? Anything?
Yeah. And what was crazy was that entire morning when I woke up, I was checking the updates. Like, before you asked me to do that. Like,
right.
I was up. I knew
we
it was
called
there.
each other pretty early that morning.
Because PSN had the achievement there.
Right.
Like, it had it there, and I knew
and
it was there.
Xbox had it, too.
And Xbox had it,
right.
and I was just like, what the hell's going on? I got off we were texting. I think I called you.
Right.
Yeah, I called you. We were talking, and all of a sudden, I'm just like, I'm updating it. This is like super early in the morning.
Yeah, it's
too.
like 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
Like, I tried updating my console or my game on PSN, like, maybe 3 minutes before, and then I checked again, and it had an update. Like, we had that update within probably a minute of it launching.
Right. Yeah, and mine was an
ridiculous.
update on Xbox too. So literally, like, you had an update on Xbox, but you were the only one to actually see the letter first. So
Yes.
you were playing through it, getting
I was getting the footage.
The first place we checked was the STARS office.
The STARS office.
Nothing
I started
was there.
a new game.
Right.
We went to the STARS office. I was there in about, I don't even know, 5 minutes. Like, I was there so fast. I didn't kill anything. I just ran by it, headshot, run right by, boom.
Right.
I think I got bit. Actually, I did. Yeah, I got bit once. Shoved that bitch off me. I got double bit. This is how I knew we were going to find something. I got double bit by the Asian and the blonde zombie that, in the beginning.
Right.
I shrugged the Asian zombie off of me, and then the girl grabbed me, so he grabbed me too. They both took me down and bit me, and I cracked both their necks and was still on fine.
Damn.
And I was on, I'm pretty sure I was on standard, which is usually danger when they both double grab you, or at least orange caution.
But you're like, I'm making it today.
And I was like, I'm making it today. I ran so fast to that STARS office.
Nothing was there.
I skipped Marvin. I went straight to the Valve. Like, I just did everything I could. Nothing was there.
The only thing there was the beret and the dog picture and nothing else.
Nothing was in the locker room.
We
I
thought
checked
it
there
was
too.
swapped with the Chris, because you had a theory. You texted me a couple days. You're like, what if the letter changes? Like, what if Chris, or what if that's Jill that wrote that letter? We're just talking about it. We're like, what is it? What is the letter? Why is she writing this letter? Who is she writing this to? And
is she writing in them to throw off like the trail to Chris?
Right. And it's important we're talking about this because this does prelude to RE3. Right.
Yeah, which is still possible.
Right.
She could have wrote that letter because Claire says it doesn't sound like Chris. We think it's just Chris being like funny, or like
we assume that
he's like sending a secret code like, you better not join me, Barry, aka you should come fucking quick.
Yeah, please come and help me. Yeah. And then when you were playing, you called me back and you're like, dude, I found it.
Yeah.
I found it and I got footage and
I said, bro,
it's in here.
I found it. And you were like, Nani?
Yeah, and you got the trophy and everything, and it was in Kendo's shop.
Yep, Kendo's gun shop.
And this is the first time we've seen an interaction between a STARS member and Kendo.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It's fucking
because
cool.
Barry is supposed to be like really good friends with him.
And he sends that fax.
He sends the fax because he's the one that makes the custom, samurai edges for everybody.
Right, and I love that they add that little connection in it. And it's interesting because the screenshot, when we talk about the screenshot, it shows Jill behind Kendo with a Kendo kind of
It definitely looks
photoshopped.
photoshopped.
Yeah,
Like, it's weird.
But it's weird because, like, that's in the
It's
legit
official,
achievement
but-
official list.
But it definitely doesn't look like...
It's taken from a scene.
It
We
doesn't
thought
look
it
like
was
that.
because we're like, what the fuck are we gonna see? A cutscene? Like,
Yeah.
what is it? Like, we were literally like, what the hell? Because these weird little quirky Easter eggs were kind of rolling out.
Because, like, when you look at Jill, it even looks like you can see, like, she was photoshopped in there. I almost wonder if, like, Xbox put it together and then put it up there. Like, that's probably what they do. You know, like, all the achievement screenshots.
Well,
How
they're
are you
not-
gonna...
All
how-
the other ones I can confirm they're not pieced together. You know?
Yeah,
what I
are
mean?
they?
So that's the thing. It's like that one just look. I don't know why
It
they
looks
chose
weird.
that. Yeah.
It looks weird.
Right.
Like, it doesn't look like it's normal.
Right. No.
It looks like a scene from RE2, and Jill was just slapped
Jill
on
was
it.
just slapped in it. No, and it's true, guys. Have you seen it? Like it, but like it's real because when I was recording with my Elgato, as you see in the video, it's what it looks like.
No, yeah.
And it's weird, but
No, it's official.
It's weird. It's a weird, quirky thing that they added, and
And there's no scene like that in the game.
no,
So it doesn't make sense.
No,
There was no screenshot that they could have put in there that would make sense.
that would make sense. Yeah, that's what's weird about it is that where's that scene? It doesn't exist. It's not even there. So that happened on Thursday, and then obviously the Game Awards was that night as well. So this is all the
Yes.
same day as the Game Awards, and then the next day there's another demo that drops for Resident Evil 2,
Yeah, on the 12th.
and this is pretty much
Or was it the 13th?
it was the Game Awards were on the
12th.
the 12th.
So it was the 13th.
So on Friday the 13th, they updated another demo, and this is pretty much the last piece of like news that we're gonna tell you in order, and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of some of these characters and stuff like that. But it was another demo. Now you're like, what the hell, guys? Like another demo? Like we
Yeah.
already played the demo before. We played the one shot, and we also played the demo after the one shot. Well, this is another demo.
It's another demo.
And
It's called
John
the
also played this in the
It's
morning.
called the RPD demo. I woke up. I was late to work.
Worth it.
I woke up. I saw the demo was released. I downloaded it right away. And I said to myself, and I texted our group chat for Let's Talk Resident Evil. I said, okay, guys, a demo dropped. There's no reason that this demo doesn't have stuff the old one doesn't have. Or there's no reason this demo doesn't have stuff that the old one wouldn't have, essentially. It's got to have more stuff. And I based that solely on the fact that I still have the old demo downloaded, and this demo was bigger. Like in size.
Right.
Just a little bit bigger. But it was just a little bit. And it was enough for me to go, yeah, there's something in here. So let me start it up and see. So I started up. I play through the demo. Nothing happens. I'm like, wait a second. I can go outside.
Yeah, because
So
you can turn around and go
Yep.
right outside.
So I started it up. I turned around. The Elgato was already going. I already had the Elgato going and capturing. People were laughing about that video because you can actually see me like close the PS4.
Yeah.
It wasn't even. I was so excited. I didn't even think about that. I just fucking left it in. I didn't even care. I like recorded it and went straight to make the video. We were the first.
Yes.
We were the first
Right.
up on YouTube. I searched every tag possible. We were the only one
We were
there.
on it. Yeah.
You walk outside. You walk to the left. Nothing happens. You walk to the right, and you hear it. Stars. He sounds so good.
So fucking good.
Now, there's some people who are like, I didn't hear stars. I didn't hear it either. Yeah.
It's in there.
It's fucking in there. Clean your ears out. You're deaf.
Because
fucks.
now everyone's made a video on it.
And
it's
Resident
fucking-
Evil's Twitter page actually confirmed it's stars.
It's
And
stars.
it's an Easter egg.
And that's why they put that in there for the fans.
And the RPD demo, and people were like, why put it in the demo? Why not put it? I'm passionate about this. Listen. It's in the demo because the demo is not considered a canon product. The original Resident Evil 2 Remake release is the final version of the game. It is the canon product.
it's done.
Nemesis,
It's finished.
a Nemesis Easter egg in the beginning makes no sense. And it doesn't belong in the main game. It only belongs in the demo.
Or someone would argue, well, will the note belong in that game? Because Jill's note was added in there.
It will belong in there when in Resident Evil Remake 3 she talks to Kendo and leaves that note. It makes sense to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're
I
right.
think it even says in the, and this is a whole nother thing, and I don't want to get into this because I know people are going to be like, the archives are wrong, John. They say Rebecca Chambers died. Like, the archives are not perfect. But in the archives, when you go through the story of Resident Evil 3, it actually says a lot of really cool stuff. And one of them is that when Jill is making her way to the RPD, because in the original game, you're basically going to the Raccoon City Police Department for no fucking reason.
Right.
It never explains
I
anything.
gotta get my lockpick.
Not even that. She doesn't say anything.
No.
She's just like, it's my last escape. And you're like, okay, well, where the fuck am I supposed to go? I guess I'm going to the police station because I see.
Just for the sake of Brad to die.
You know what I mean?
You
Just for Brad to die, Nemesis to be introduced. In the book, the archives, they actually wrote that Jill decides before she leaves, she's going to need more equipment to get through the zombies or whatever.
Right.
So she goes to the RPD in hopes that there is still equipment for her to take or for her to find people who can use the equipment. So she's going there for reinforcements. She's going there to meet with people like Marvin.
To see if anyone's alive, right.
Yeah, just to see if she can get somebody to help her out. Well, that's not happening in this one because she's already with other people. So what if she goes to, what if her and Brad are just like what if she's like, hey, Brad, and he's like, Nani? And she's like, let's go check the Kendo gun shop. Maybe he's there. Maybe he has my custom gun I ordered.
Right.
Or whatever the case is. And they go to the gun shop. And then she sees what happens. Maybe we'll see Robert Kendo's wife die.
Right.
And then maybe we'll see her little girl get infected. Wouldn't that be heartbreaking if, like, when Jill gets there, that's when that's happening?
Right, and she has to deal with some of those
and
repercussions
then she's like, hey, Kendo.
she's the cop.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And she's like, Kendo, why don't you, why don't you go with us? And Kendo's like, no, I'm going to go kill my wife.
Yeah, I got to be here with my family.
I got to be here with my family. I got to finish the job. They're infected. It's my duty as a father.
And that'd be cool if you go there and you see people try to like steal guns and shit because you see like how the shelves are all toppled over and you know, it's just everything's taken from the
and the door's locked.
Yeah, it's just like everyone already took everything. Like you know, like she goes there thinking can maybe get her. Maybe that's why she doesn't have her gun because she tries to go there and all he has is like you know whatever a Glock.
Maybe he's gonna give her the shotgun.
Right. You know, there's so much to that, and I think, like you said, like the reason why it's in there would make sense. It really wouldn't make sense for them to just be like, "Oh, Nemesis is just in 2 now." It makes sense.
Not.
I like the fact that it was in a demo because it's something. I like it because it's kind of pretentious. Like it's something that you can just overlook. Like I kind of like that.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Like think about it, guys. And a lot of people said they didn't understand why the demo was even there. Why do you even have a demo for a game that's already out? Like, obviously, anybody who says that has no fucking idea what they're talking about when it comes to marketing. Your game was just a contender for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, the biggest gaming event, basically, for awards in America, right? Or one of the biggest. Maybe not the best, but one of the biggest. Right? And your game was just seen by how many people were watching that? A ton.
Right. Millions.
People who haven't bought it. People who have bought it. People who haven't bought it that the people who have bought it told them to buy it.
And now the price has dropped.
Oh, and now they have an unlimited demo that they can go try and see what all the hype is about to buy their product.
Why?
Bro,
Yeah.
why would you not re-release the demo?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Right.
They want to bring people. I'm so frustrated. People are stupid. They want to bring people to the franchise to sell 3.
Right.
Otherwise, none of this was worth it. If they don't sell 3, even if we jerk off every day to it, it doesn't mean that they're going to be successful with it if it doesn't sell.
Right.
And the only way to sell 3 is to sell 2.
Right.
And the only way to sell 2 was to sell 7. Unfortunately, that's the only way to sell 7 was to sell 6, and somehow they fucking did that.
And 7 didn't outsell 2 either. You know, 7 only did what, 4 million?
No, I think 7's still higher.
Is this higher?
A little bit. It's
okay.
I think 7 is like I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think 7's Resident Evil 2 Remake is still like $1 million off. Because 7's been selling since then still.
Right. It's had longer time.
Exactly. It's had a longer time, but it's close, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's close.
It'll get there.
It's close. And also RE7 was like if you had the VR, you had to have that. That was like one of the best games, unfortunately.
Right.
Like it was one of the best games for it, you know, right up there with Don't Knock Twice.
Yeah, that's an amazing game. 10 out of 10 game. Say that every bit of sarcasm. What else do we got here? So moving on from that.
The demo's fun. Go play it.
Go play it. So we're going to be going into what else do we have? Collector's Edition.
Oh yeah, so the collector's edition.
Right. Because we'll get into Jill, Carlos, Nikolai, Mikhail, Nemesis. We're gonna get into that right after this. So we did get a collector's edition as well, and to kind of gush about this, there's a Jill statue, and we were talking about in our couple videos leading up to Resident Evil. Do we want a Nemesis statue? Do we want a Jill statue? It ended up being a Jill statue. And in the commentary, we didn't actually talk about this in the in the commentary portion or the developer's note. I say commentary, developer's note. They did show it off in the developer's note.
Yes.
Next to the Leon statue, and it comes with an art book and a Raccoon City map with survivors drawing on it, and then the other side is a clean version of Raccoon City with ads before the destruction and everything. And I think this is fucking awesome. It's $179 American.
That's what you paid.
Yeah, that's what I paid. But if you're someone like John and you got your order canceled, even
for
though
no
you
reason,
it,
even though I was one of the first, I found like the backwater link to the PS4 before it was even.
We were all huddled around our phones and computers that night. We were making all those videos for you guys, waiting for a link. We went to a GameStop before John's party and literally was like,
yeah.
Do you guys have this? And they said it is not updated yet. The listing is not there. So flash forward like 6 hours later, and then it finally goes up on their website. And we ordered it on their website because they don't charge you until they ship.
Yeah.
And we thought everything was fine.
And then I wake up in the next morning and it is canceled for no reason. They didn't tell me why. I called. There's nothing they could do for me.
And that was
so
it.
I went to PlayAsia.com and I bought myself the Japanese version with this physical soundtrack.
Yep.
And I paid $340 for it. $60, 60 bones shipping.
Jesus.
They bent me over and they Nemesis'd me, dude.
That was it.
And I loved every minute of it because I'm going to have that Jill statue and some fucking idiot out there is not going to have it. And I'm going to have
some fucking idiot's not going to have it.
And I'm going to put that soundtrack right on the shelf, and it's never coming out.
We hope that everyone that was able to get it got it.
And it'll come back in stock. I just didn't want to.
The Capcom store had it today in stock.
Apparently, yeah.
As of recording, but again, we were putting out links and tweeting everywhere.
We were trying to help you guys.
We're trying to. Because a lot of people were like, "Where's the listing?" Like, I don't.
Even when mine canceled, I was like, even when we knew mine was canceled, that was when we put the links out, and I was like, just do it. Like, let's help our guys get it, and they did.
Yeah, and the thing is too, it's like for me, I wanted it on the Xbox One, so I went when it first went on GameStop.com. For some reason, the one link that was there was only the Xbox version.
Yeah, they didn't upload the PS4
Xbox,
one.
And the PS4 link was like hidden, or it wasn't even there at the time of the Xbox listing. And I wanted it on Xbox, so I was like, all right, fuck it, let me just do this now. And it's going to be gone. The Xbox One sold out first. Then when the PS4 list was online, it was online for the longest time. Remember, I kept checking. I was like, Xbox is out, but PS4 still has copies, the rest of the night. And then I finally saw it the next day. They replenished it the next day. But then by noon, my couple of my other friends were trying to get it, and they couldn't get it. And that was like, you know what I mean? So it was like...
It was sold out.
Sold out. So, but the Resident Evil 2 one you can still get. So that's kind of confusing.
I'm sure that the Resident Evil 3 one will come back in stock. They're going to mass produce that bitch.
All I'm saying, guys, is like, John paid that extra from PlayAsia, and they're like a verified seller. But be very careful on eBay. If you go on eBay, if you're looking at these resellers that are trying to charge people like $400 to $500, just be very careful.
Don't buy them.
Don't buy them. Like, you're better off,
wait.
PlayAsia, they've screwed me over sometimes in the past, but they've been pretty, good with sending stuff. They've never, taken money from me or anything like that. So, you can trust them versus just some, douchebag that's trying to make, a couple $100. Like, normally for PlayAsia, you're paying extra because of the version you're getting and the shipping. Because it's literally coming from China.
And I've been buying from PlayAsia since Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Right.
And they've never, ever, ever dicked me. So, they're good.
So you paid the extra just to be done with it. It's not going to get canceled.
And at least I'll get the physical
soundtrack. The physical soundtrack, yeah. And I'm probably going to eventually end up getting that version down the road. Or if UK has a version, I'm going to be getting another PlayStation 4 edition. That's a foreign edition. But that's a little blurb about the collector's edition.
Yeah, it's got the art book and the digital soundtrack. I do like that the physical soundtrack has the RE3 disc and a Resistance disc.
I like that they're separate.
I like that Resistance is included with the game, too.
Right.
That's really cool.
And I like the fact that they composed like a whole fucking list of songs.
Yeah.
Just for Resistance. Like,
Just
they weren't
for
just like,
Resistance.
oh, it's a
We're gonna
multiplayer
throw
thing.
in-
Let's throw like 6 tracks that
We're just
loop in
gonna
and
throw
out.
them in, yeah.
It's like, it looks like the composer like really did his work on that shit. He or she.
Yeah, it's cool, too. Also, just a quick announcement, or not announcement, but just a quick overview. There is only been a couple versions confirmed. There is a Z edition, and then there is the standard, D edition.
Right.
The Cero D.
Yeah.
Just a quick, blurb about that, just so people can understand, because there's a lot of miscommunication in the comments about what that means.
And there's no deluxe edition this time around. By
No
the
deluxe
way.
edition.
Like RE2 had a deluxe that came with the guns and came that stuff. You do get a pre-order bonus, though. I wanted to say this real quick: the mini skirt and original Carlos if you pre-order it.
For sure.
That's on all versions.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be any confirmation of a old soundtrack either.
Not yet.
A soundtrack swap. I would not be surprised if they do that, but it's probably going to be paid DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care at this point. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But what I will say is about the D and the Z rating. A lot of people seem to think that the Z edition is like more censored than the D edition. It's actually not. The Z edition is what we get in America, essentially. It's the D edition, the normal edition in Japan, that is like super censored. The Z edition, it might not be fully what we get in America, but it's the closest thing to an American game that we will
So
get.
the one with Nemesis on the cover
is their hardcore one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that clears that up for
because there's a lot of people in the comments that were really confused, like, did you hear this game's going to be censored to hell, John? And I'm like, yeah, but they've all been that like that. Like, they've been like that since 2, when I could shoot a zombie's head off and it didn't explode.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like on the N64.
Yeah, they always had weird censored stuff like that happen.
Because of violence.
RE4, same thing. Like the heads wouldn't go away, or
yeah, exactly.
Leon would just kind of get cut on his neck, and then he would just die. Like that would happen.
His head wouldn't come off.
His head wouldn't come off. And I played that version, and I was like, what the hell? But then you got to remind yourself, okay, this is just what they do in Japan. Sometimes they have different rules of censorship.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
No,
that's
in
just
fact, RE4 didn't have a fucking option. RE4 was just one version, and that's all you fucking got.
Yeah.
Like, now they are like, hey, here's the option. Like,
we
got the Z edition of 2.
We got the Z edition of 2, and it's basically the same game that we have.
Right.
I think it's important to remember that I think it's the D edition in Japan is a certain age.
There's probably some kind of age.
And then the Z edition is a different age. And the reason why they slapped that D on them is because it helps them sell copies to younger audiences without subjecting them to the more violent things. I know there's a lot of pro-censor people out there, and there's a lot of anti-censor people out there.
Right.
At the end of the day, as long as there's the option, I'm cool.
Right. And, I think, having those editions, like, we don't have, a soundtrack swap as of yet or anything like that, but I think, everyone will be happy with it. They're probably not doing a deluxe edition this time because there isn't really a reason to do one. Like, if they do anything extra, like, they'll probably just have you pay for a couple extra bucks for it, or
I'm honestly happy
$5.
there's no deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Because that's a third copy of the game we have to buy.
There's a standard and collectors, and if that's it. And the collectors
I don't even have the
comes with
standard of
stuff.
Resident Evil 2. I just have the deluxe.
I was about to say, I don't even have the standard.
I don't have it.
I don't have the standard.
Because I have the reversible. I love the reversible covers.
Yes.
And we have the steelbooks. Steelbook, dog.
RE3 Steelbook, Best Buy, it's got to happen.
It's got to
happen.
And it's got to be Nemesis.
And someone did, we were talking about in the couple people were like, no Steelbook. And I'm like, just wait, because I hope that
It'll
they have
happen.
one. Someone will make one. It could be from Europe, or it could be, something here that we get.
It's going to be sold
but
separately.
Best Buy had a Steelbook that was like, it sells for a lot of money just by itself without the game. And thankfully we were able to get one, and I was able to get another one for a subscriber that won in a giveaway. We'll also be doing a giveaway.
I still have 2 of them, and I don't even know why.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I have 2 of those steelbooks, and I don't even know why.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even remember why we bought me 2.
I don't know.
I think I bought one The other one would just happen to come or some crap. I don't remember.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do another giveaway and stuff when that stream comes along too, because we usually will just buy an extra copy.
As long as we can get them.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that wraps up all the additions.
that wraps up a lot of the additions that was announced post-release, and then obviously we know that Resistance is now included, so that is going to be a whole nother mode that we'll take advantage of and
One
play
thing
a lot.
about Resistance, I am curious that I don't know if we got official word on yet or not. We will have to look at that later. Crossplay. I wonder if Resistance is going to be Xbox, PS4, Steam friendly. I know there's no Switch edition.
That'd be cool if the fans.
But
could
I think
just
it will be because Capcom's other games, for the most part, I think at this point are.
Well, if you just make a ResidentEvil.net or a Resident Evil Ambassador thing, they should make a server for that. And if you have a Resident Evil account or an Ambassador account, whatever. Doesn't even have to be ambassador because that's a whole nother thing. But if you wanted to just become a part of that account and just make an account like Activision has theirs for Call of Duty or any other games, and it just connects it all. Because then that's awesome. Because then we can literally play with all of our fans, all of them, no limitations on consoles.
Because I'll be on PS4.
Yeah, I'll be on everything, so we can play it. But if we all want to play it together, essentially, we'll probably be on PlayStation or PC at that point. So which PC seems probably like the best specs. Most people are on PC nowadays. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll kind of circle back more about that. We already kind of talked about our trailer impressions, like how we felt about it. That leads into, characters, and getting into characters. The one thing that we were able to see, and one of our favorite things in the trailers, was looking at each individual character, and that brings up, Jill and Carlos in this trailer. We obviously have, Mikhail, Nikolai. We also have the doctor, Dr. Bart.
Dr. Bart, yep. We got Murphy. Tyrell's back.
Right.
What seemingly is Dr. Bart in the trailer, which was pretty cool, seeing that character come all the way back from, if you've watched the video about the Adraville.
Right.
He's mentioned in that. It's a pretty cool nod. Maybe they were just thinking of like, well, what should we name this doctor? And then they remembered that.
Well, let's kick it off with Jill Valentine. And Jill Valentine is, a fan favorite. Obviously, they mentioned that in, the developer's note as well. And bringing her back is a huge moment for us fans, and so even someone like myself who's been just waiting to see more of Jill for many reasons, because we've been trying to actually see where they can take her, who's going to play her, and just seeing her in this trailer and knowing now we can even touch on the bio a little bit, because the bio is so important with what she is dealing with leading up to this. We obviously know she is in the Spencer Mansion. She deals with that, and she's dealing with the repercussions of that, coming back to the city, and the whole team knowing what they know, and knowing Chief Irons and all that stuff, knowing that what he knows, and we know how he is. But because they know this information, Jill is under complete surveillance by Umbrella. She is trapped technically just inside the apartment building, where she's pretty much forced to witness these attacks unfold.
Yep.
And she even says in the trailer it gets worse every night.
Yep.
And you're thinking that she's seeing that from her perspective. And I love this touch. I love it because, again, what would be stopping her in the old games of her telling everyone else outside of the city?
Yeah.
Besides the fact that she's confined in the city and she's working in the city, it makes sense as to why she's cooped up, and maybe she's not able to see everyone before they leave or before they, pass away in this whole tragic event. Because a lot of times if she's locked up behind those doors and can't leave, all this shit's happening and you can't do anything until some of those people that are surveilling you die or they fucking leave the city and get the fuck out of Dodge and leave you to your own devices to die, because they know, we're just going to send Nemesis to kill her.
Yeah.
She's not going to last. There's no fucking way she's going to last. So then they just leave her to her own devices, and then that's where the game really kicks in. But I like this little touch because it's new, but it adds, again, to that story. Like, we may get a cinematic where they're talking to Irons, or, we might see more of that leading up to after Resident Evil 1, but leading into 2 and then 3. Like, her kind of readjusting to this, living with the information that they know. And I wonder how they're going to handle that, because that's a big thing with Jill. And, all the surviving members are off doing their own thing at this point.
Yeah, Chris, Rebecca, and Barry are all gone.
Right.
It's just Brad and Jill.
Right. And it's like, so...
And Wesker's gone.
Right. So it's like, again, it's cool that they added this element. And, Jill, she, I love the actress that's playing her. I think she looks phenomenal. It's my favorite look of Jill Valentine. I can say that right now, that it is my favorite. And, I love it to death.
Yeah.
And
looks great.
I think it's the most perfect they could have made her. And, I have no doubt that, with these scenes that they're going to give us, we're going to be seeing some genuine emotion and some genuine, performances.
Their detail in the eyes is incredible.
What do you think? I know it is. What do you think of them adding the surveillance aspect to it? Because this did come out after the fact. We did see the bio. The bio is from the website, guys. We did do a video on it as well. But if you go on the website, that's where we got this information.
Yeah, for sure. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's kind of sits more in line with Jill's actual story in the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, because when she begins her monologue, when she's talking about, like, if only they had the courage to fight, like, Umbrella's this giant, like, we're going to take them down, like, we got to do what we got to do. It's important to remember that Jill Valentine she stayed behind on purpose in the original game to conduct an investigation on the underground facility. And she was doing that because she wanted to prove that Umbrella was at fault, because she knew, or she suspected, with Chief Irons turning down everything that they were trying to talk about, that Umbrella ran Raccoon City.
And no matter what,
there
was just a dead end.
They were paying people off.
Right.
And so she was conducting a private investigation upon herself, and then they found out, and then she was immediately put under quote-unquote house arrest. Now, they don't say house arrest, but it's fucking house arrest.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you cannot fucking leave.
I'm probably suspecting Umbrella has, like, snipers or something that are, like,
guarding
she knows.
her. Right.
They didn't just put fucking Ring doorbell cameras in her in her house. You know what I mean? Like, which is 1999, so it's a little, a long time ago.
98. Yeah.
98, yeah, sorry. It's 1998, so it's a long time ago, but they didn't just put cameras out there. Like, there's armed people watching her. Irons told her not to leave. She's stuck in her apartment. I believe the opening scene is going to show her either running from Nemesis, because Nemesis is going to Kool-Aid Man the fucking door.
Yeah, he's going to fucking find that.
Like, they're going to be like, all right, you guys can pull out. Nemesis is going in.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something like that. It's just, I love the added story, because that is what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's just what I wanted. I just want the game to be better.
Because in this wave of Resident Evil, this Jill, as we know it, is a ghost. I mean, she doesn't exist. We don't have a previous foundation besides of what we know previous games ago. Like, fucking game. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's been so long. Jill has to kind of reestablish herself.
2002
to us. Right. So it's like, and this, if they ever remake 1, this game is disregarding that. So technically, this is the first time we're seeing her in the midst of this Raccoon City stuff. So they have to really establish those boundaries, because also fans that are playing this, they can't expect them, new fans that are playing this, I should say, they can't expect them to know everything about Jill. So tell us where Jill has been, what she has dealt with, and what she's going through. And if we know that she's in this surveillance kind of predicament because of, X, Y, and Z, because of these events happening, and the Spencer Mansion, because everyone knows the Spencer Mansion who's playing Resident Evil, but show us some of these, like, documents, or show us some of these notes. Maybe if we get to play around of her apartment, like, maybe we get to see some of the stuff she's been writing out. Maybe she has a board of, like, a bunch of shit. Maybe that board that we saw in the trailer was her investigating, you know what I mean, with all of these, like, blueprints and stuff like that.
I think that's Nikolai's board in the cabin.
Okay.
Because it has a picture of stars on it.
Oh, okay.
Like the actual iconic photo of them. And a net.
Okay.
But it could be Jill's, but I'm pretty sure that's the cabin.
Okay.
Because why would she investigate herself?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
she'd be like, fucking Brad's betraying us again.
Right. And regardless of that, it'd be cool if they had something.
I get what you mean,
right,
yeah.
something around there where it's like you can
if she has a board.
It's attention to detail. Like, just little things to show her, like, how she is and how clever she is, because again, you're reintroducing Jill Valentine to a whole new group of people, and also, even for fans, it's like we're saying hello to an old friend, but we're also, like, really trying to get to know them again, because it's been so long. And I think
we haven't seen her since what, Resident Evil 5?
right in the current timeline. Like Revelations was before, and then we only heard her via email or something written to Barry in Revelations 2, where she's like, hey, like my hair turned back to the same color, like I'm still really sick, like she's not on the front lines, you know, she's getting over that. We haven't seen anything after that. So it's like now we're going back to this.
Which,
so
like, her character fell apart after 3. Like it just fell, like she's not important.
I mean, I would disagree. I mean, I like her in 5. You know, I think she's as strong as point of that in 5, you know, with Desperate Escape and Lost in Nightmares. Like, if 5 had Jill the whole time,
it would be a different story.
It would be better, and she would have never died and fell out the window, you know, died, quote unquote, died. But
they could have even spun that and made it work. The problem was, like, it's not that she's not important to me.
Right.
But, like, to the narrative, she just became, like, unimportant.
She kind of came in the background a little
Revelations was her last big thing. And then Resident Evil 5, she gets off-screened or on-screened. And then off-screened. And then comes back blonde. And you do a little bit of stuff. And then she gets written off with, like, Josh. And then Sheva and Chris take over, and they just do their thing, and then you never see her again.
But that's the thing too. It's like that brings up a good point. That was a really big flaw in the storytelling. Like 4, 5, and 6 is when the flaws really started to show in the storytelling and how they use certain characters. Like,
which is such a shame.
It seemed like she was just in the background. Like, she should have been in the forefront, like you said. Like, it should have been her and Chris that took out Wesker. Like, little things like that,
which we've talked about before, and I've gone on record as saying I don't mind Shev. I think Shev is a great character,
and I still like 5 for what it is and what I played. But it's like, again, years later, looking back, you can see those little holes there.
Why does Jill lose her revenge? Why is it only Chris that gets it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that was bad storytelling.
Right, and Chris is the only one wondering if it's worth fighting for. Well, Jill's been fighting her whole life, too, and she's been just fucking captured by this guy who puts this fucking, you know, heart on your chest, this little chip thing that's controlling you, and you're infected, you know what I mean? And, you know, now it's like, now's the time for them to kind of, like, throw that away, not pay attention to it, and then you completely, you know, make it a new thing. You completely make it more accurate to what we're going to be getting in the remake going forward and this new rendition of Jill. Because like I said, this is like a whole new thing.
For sure.
You know, I like what they did with that, and I think it's safe to say that they'll do, you know, they'll do a really good job. Now, the house arrest thing is cool because, again, it adds a more realistic value of them trying to keep a lid on everything. Not they're gonna break it open. They're gonna set it off anyway. But, you know, it's kind of interesting to see them being like, hey, we know that she's really good. Like, we're going to specifically, like, cast her out because she's the only one that's left in the city besides Brad. And Brad's not going to do shit because he's too scared. So let's do this to Jill, you know?
Well, yeah, you got to remember, like, Umbrella has money.
Right.
They're paying off everybody.
They got resources, man.
It's not even until the events before Resident Evil 6 that the Americans learn the real things that happened in Raccoon City.
Right.
Like, all of that's kept under wraps. Like, the BSAA doesn't say anything. Everybody's fighting for a greater cause.
In 4, you realize it was like a cover-up.
Well, in 4, yeah, because in the beginning, Leon kind of talks about it. And then, like, Leon and Adam Benford's, the president's, which is the president he shoots in 6. Spoiler alert. But he kind of talks to him about, like, how, like, Raccoon City, we're going to tell the public, like, the actual truth about Raccoon City because the American government was involved. Like, they were involved with that.
And
like,
the cleanup.
They were involved in the cleanup, and, like, they didn't tell anybody, and it was
very sketchy.
It's crazy to think that, like, imagine you're Jill Valentine, and she's in a shitty predicament. Like, she's the only one there, like, her and Brad.
Right. Your team's already disbanded.
The Stars is already gone. And then Stars is already away. Chris and everybody's investigating Europe. So you have Jill Valentine. You're stuck in a city, overrun with monsters. You have this dickhead in a trench coat chasing you in the original. Now, he looks like he's mummified in this one, but he still has like a trench coat. He's got like this leather band. He has a hard-on for you. He's chasing you. He just wants to kill you. People are dying all around you.
Brad's pretty useless.
You're doing an investigation. Brad seems to be useless. And on top of everything you're doing means nothing because Umbrella's going to get away with it.
Right. And the town everything that you know and you lived in your whole life and your home is gone. Your home is not your home anymore. It's not safe anymore.
It's not safe.
It's not that, home, when you think of home, you think of like a safe place for yourself. This is not their home anymore, and she's literally forced to fucking leave. If not forced, she's chased out of the city, not even out, but like to be killed in the city, and it's just like, imagine
Crazy.
being on the other side of the coin. It's crazy, and I think we're going to see it in a different way, and it's going to be told so much better without any kind of limitations and stuff.
The Last Escape.
The Last Escape. And that also brings us to who she'll also be within The Last Escape, and that's Carlos Oliveira, who's changed
A lot.
drastically.
Now,
Now, what would you say the initial response has been from his change in the community?
everyone hates it.
A lot of people don't like it.
A lot of people don't like it.
We've been for it all together. You actually were the first thing. You're like, I really like Carlos. Like, you actually
It's
turned
so
to me
much
and you're
better.
like, I like this Carlos
It's
immediately.
so much better.
Because, again, like, Carlos kind of came and he went. Like, he was in the one game. He said, some funny lines here and there. Like, I like him as a character, but again, there wasn't much to his quote-unquote character.
Yeah.
Like, now it looks like, number one, the first thing we see him in the trailer, he's in the RPD.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to make
Well,
it
there's
to
a
the
lot of
Stars
story.
office.
There's a lot
Right.
of story changes that are happening.
Right. So let's bring that up too. So because there's story changes in Jill's, it looks like with Carlos, will we be able to see or play as him during the beginning of these outbreaks while
think
Jill's
so.
possibly locked up? And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And the reason why I think so is because Carlos and Tyrell are going to the RPD to retrieve and evacuate Dr. Bart because he's hiding there. On Nikolai's map. I'm saying Nikolai's map. It could be anybody's fucking map.
we're just guessing it's Nikolai's
I think it's
map.
Nikolai's map
Right.
because I really do think it's in the cabin. Like, I
Okay.
think it's going to be in the cabin.
Right.
In, like, the park.
Right where the Gravedigger is.
Where the Gravedigger is. And it says very clearly Dr. Bart or Bard. It looks like a D. It looks like a T. I've talked to some people in the comments. Yeah, I can see how it could look like a T. When I first saw it, it was extremely low res. So I saw a D.
Right.
And Dr. Bart with a T is the one in Resident Evil 3, the Adgerville. So I'll say Dr. Bart going forward. He seems to be important. They don't want to know. They don't want the world to know what they've done.
Some people were confused because they thought that like that was Nikolai when they saw him on the screen. Like
screen,
some
and
people
it's
were
not.
like, "Yo, was that Nikolai?" But then when you watch it back, it does seem to be like someone
It's
else.
new.
And what is he hiding? Why is he hiding? Like, he has information. Maybe he has information that Nikolai wants him fucking dead, so he wants them
That's
to cap
another.
him
That's
off.
another thing.
So that's another interesting thing. But again, we're seeing him go to the STARS office, which in Resident Evil 3, in the original, he's not in the STARS office. He's in the restaurant already fighting, and he tries to call you or call the STARS office over a communication.
I don't even think he's calling the STARS office. I think he's just calling anyone.
He's just calling anyone.
Yeah.
Right. Our platoon is cut off.
Yeah.
He's
He's like, there's no escape. What does he say? Does he actually say there's no escape,
don't
or
know
does
if
he
he
say there's no survivors?
I think there's no survivors. Like, our
Yeah.
platoon is cut off. Like, yeah.
This is Carlos. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I'm so glad he's gone.
Right.
Like, I know that I'm gonna get shit for this. Even Dustin gives me shit for this. But Carlos Oliveira is trash. He was a trash character with a trash concept. And he literally was nobody to the story. Like, literally nobody. Yes, he was a UBCS. Yes, it was cool. His dynamic was cool. But he, like...
The biggest thing is that he escaped with Jill, and Jill,
Yeah.
they're together in that.
Yeah, and then he gets off
They
screen like Billy.
escaped like that. You know what
He's
I
a
mean?
one-and-done cuck like Billy.
Like Billy. Yeah,
which is
yeah.
a shame.
Right. They
because
could have done
Carlos
more.
could have went to the BSAA.
Right.
That would have been perfect for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she should have went to the BSAA. Like, that would have been a perfect role for him.
How is this Umbrella's fault?
That's the best quote.
That's the best quote ever.
What's wrong with
Oh,
Umbrella?
that's what he says. What's wrong
What's
with
wrong
Umbrella?
with Umbrella?
Watch our video to
What's
see.
wrong with Umbrella?
What's wrong with Umbrella?
It's really good.
Yeah, it's.
I like his design. 10 out of 10. Best redesign any character has ever gotten in Resident Evil. Period. He is the best redesign. Period.
Yeah, and if you can play as the old one, if you don't like the new one, so.
And
you
the
know.
old one looks like an idiot. Like, he literally looks like an idiot. Like, he doesn't even have the same hair, because Carlos's hair in the original looks much longer. He's got, like, a soccer dad haircut. Like, it's ridiculous.
I like this where it's like his hair is literally in front of his eyes and he just needs a haircut. Like, I like that he looks rugged.
He's like rugged.
And they said that they redesigned it again due to the situation. So the main thing that people were I wouldn't even say speculating, but they're like shitting on the leaked artwork because they're like, why? Like, I don't like how he looks, and it's like, look, like these characters look like they went through shit. Like, the front cover, whatever that is,
the front cover
whenever
looked
that's
a little
representing.
Weird, to be honest, the front cover of Carlos and Jill both look a little weird.
I could see how it could be off-putting, but now that I've seen
so
it
did
and
Leon
I look at it,
and Claire.
Right, but like Leon and Claire on the front look fine, and Carlos and Jill on the front and Nemesis look fine too, but I like that it looks like it's later in the game where they look like they've seen some shit. Like,
they've been beat up.
It shows you like this is a serious shit.
For
with
sure.
Nemesis over their shoulder in the background, you know, it's like he's lurking. Like I like that. And yeah, man, Carlos, like they hit it out of the park with this, and like I know they're gonna do his justice. I know that if he's escaping with Jill, there's gonna be probably more conversations more around that. I hope they don't like make Carlos a fucking nobody again. Like I hope they actually do something with him.
They're gonna do something.
I
with
hope
him.
that Jill and Carlos are also they're still together. Obviously they'll be separate for certain elements of the game, but I hope that we see them interact more. 100%. Like, and I hope that he is like more open to like, okay, I understand, you know, UBCS and Umbrella. Like I just thought it was interesting that like, you know, how oblivious he was in 3.
Yeah, because they don't know anything except for Nikolai.
Right. And so it's like, okay, now that they know that, okay, well, I'm just a mercenary, you know, but I can also still help these civilians and like, you know, and then I like how Jill like kind of makes him question it, like, well, why are you here? Like, what's your purpose? And he's like, oh, we're here to rescue civilians. It's like, no, like, there's more to this shit. Like, Umbrella's the reason why this shit happened.
Yeah, she says, you're the reason why this all happened.
Umbrella's the reason why this whole mess began, you know? And it's like, I want to see that conversation, but it to hit him like a ton of bricks. Not like, oh, well, you know, you love my accent. All the Foxy ladies love my... It's like, don't make him a ladies' man. Make him...
Oh, I can push the bell.
Right. Yeah.
To subscribe. Push the bell for notification.
Push the bell. Subscribe for more
What's
podcasts.
wrong with Umbrella?
What's wrong with Umbrella? But
his outfit's nice though.
No, his outfit looks awesome, and obviously, you know, he also has an M16 as well, or not M16, but it's like it's not the same. It's not the M4A1 rifle.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's different here.
Apparently not from that time.
Yeah, apparently not from.
Which
that
is
time.
fine. Neither was USBs.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Still have it, but you know, but that leaves us to the next topic when it comes to, you know, I mean, do you want to talk about Brad real quick or like?
Yeah, Brad's redesign looks awesome. I liked his redesign.
Reminds me of Frank West, but I like it. It's a good thing.
He looks like a douche.
He just looks like a douchebag. That's not going to help, and he's like, oh yeah, you know.
Yeah, you know, you gotta.
You're going to do more work. I left you in Raccoon City. I wonder if they're going to bring that up. Like, I wonder if she's going to be like, oh, are you just going to leave again? Like,
and he's going to be like, Jill, he has a hard-on for both of us.
Jill, we're rewriting the canon.
And I'm not trying to get fucked in the ass.
We're rewriting the canon, Jill, okay? I did not leave you in RE1.
Yeah,
that never
was
happened.
shot down.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be brought up, though. You know, that's a good point, because is he going to last longer?
Yeah.
I think he's going to last longer. Or he might die in the same area in front of the police station, but we'll see him in those beginning parts.
Yeah, he'll feel more padded out.
His
death will be more impactful for people who haven't played the original game.
Right, exactly.
They'll be like, oh, this is Brad Vickers. Who are you, Brad? Well, I'm the pilot for the Stars Alpha team. Oh, cool. Let me talk to you for like an hour and a half before you get off-screened by Nemesis's tentacle in the back of your throat. He's just going to get like fucking hentai'd off screen, and then you're just gonna find his mangled body in the thing.
Well, I think Brad, you know, they have the potential to, you know, make it new and make it fresh. And
they could kill Carlos.
They could.
Who knows what they could.
Right, I was gonna say
maybe Brad will live to the whole game and just die at the end.
Now, someone noted as well in the trailer, like there might be some sidebars that I might bring up in the trailer because again, we've been listening to your comments and stuff. People have been mentioning that the helicopter that Jill's running into is the same helicopter that crashes in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Is there any connection to that?
No.
Could that be possible?
Nope.
It does look like it is the same helicopter.
Well, because they use the same model.
They use the same model.
Yeah.
It's just not the same helicopter.
No, it's not.
Right. Did Nemesis shoot down the helicopter in 2?
There's no damage to the helicopter until it hits. I don't know what the fuck happened to the helicopter in 2.
But that's what people are... That's a theory going around that. It had something to do with...
Maybe it was Hunk.
Right.
Maybe Hunk sniped his ass.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Brad. Maybe Brad was drunk.
Yeah,
He went to the bar jack.
He just flew that shit.
Okay, now
Stuck in the bar jack.
I won't shoot it down completely.
Shoot it down. The helicopter shot down.
Yeah, I won't shoot it down completely, but I will tell you that it wouldn't make sense why Nemesis would attack that helicopter, because they do seem to be following the canon of Resident Evil 2 and 3.
Right.
The fact sheet does say that Resident Evil 3, again, the fact sheet is something provided to us by Capcom. We can't show it on the screen, but I could talk about it.
Right.
It does say that it does overlap with the events of Resident Evil 2.
They did keep that.
And
we did see that by the time lapse in the trailer. So
yes.
That's what that was representing for people that were wondering that,
Now, the thing is if Resident Evil 3 is going to consistently be the same as it was back in the day, both Nemesis and Jill are pretty much unconscious during the time that Leon and Claire are coming into the city.
Right. They're already at that clock tower.
They're already at the clock tower. Jill's unconscious and infected. Carlos is taking care of her. Nemesis is literally recuperating from the fight because he just got his shit kicked in. Like, he was fighting two people. He had to retreat.
He's ready to transform into Type 2.
Yeah, he's not unconscious. I'm not saying they knocked him out and Nemesis was sleeping.
Yeah,
he wasn't asleep, and he wasn't just waking up in like stars. Like, he was recuperating, and it's fine for a bioweapon, a BOW to recuperate. Like, he's not just going to be big dick all the time.
Right.
Why would Nemesis do anything to the helicopter? That it doesn't make sense. Right. Now, one theory that I do have is that while Nemesis and Jill are down, it would be pretty interesting if Nikolai was the one who shot the helicopter down or shot the pilot.
Right.
That could be interesting because you don't really get to see much of it, but it's just a theory.
Right. All speculation.
Until something is shown, I won't believe that it's Nemesis that knocked it down. I do understand where people are coming from, but he's just not there. He's not anywhere near. The clock tower is pretty far away.
Right. And unless they made it some kind of weird timeline, we don't see that happening.
Or unless they changed it.
Right.
If they changed it so that Jill doesn't get unconscious or Nemesis. They do show a helicopter that Jill gets into crash right on the roof. So if it wasn't on fire already.
Right. And they do show Jill, in her apartment looking like a zombie, looking at herself in the mirror.
With a scar on her arm.
Which we would guess it's her apartment in a bathroom, but it could be anywhere. So we don't know where that is or if that's a dream or if that's actually,
I think it's just trailer.
Right.
I have a feeling. I'm not 100%
It's a cool way
sure.
to end the trailer because you're like, because the fans know it's like, oh, well, she does get infected in this game. How are they going to do that? How are they going to spin that?
Exactly.
And,
I think it's a dream that the game opens with.
Right.
Like, I think it opens up with that, and then she wakes up in her bed.
Right.
Like, that's my prediction.
That's what I think too. That that's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good prediction. But speaking of Nemesis, that brings us to our next point here.
Nemesis.
Let's get into the Nemesis, the man himself.
And real quick, just
BOW.
to go over everybody else's design.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Pretty happy.
Yeah,
I think everybody looks
Mikhail,
great.
Nikolai,
Tyrell, Murphy.
They all look good.
And the voice acting sounds good.
It does.
It does. Sound
so
really good.
from what we've seen, because again, up until this point, we've only gotten that little trailer, and what we can pick apart from it, we think everything looks good.
And no Dario.
No Dario. No.
I hope he better be back.
I hope so. They got
0 out of 10 game if he's not.
I was gonna say, yeah, we won't even play it
if he's not there and the frost rounds aren't there.
We're turning off that 48-hour stream. It's ending in an hour.
It's ending in an hour unless you guys donate. Donation is the only way. It's the only way to keep it. No, I'm just kidding.
Donate for Dario.
Yeah, donate for Dario. D's for D's. Double D's.
But yeah, double D's. But yeah, everyone else looks awesome. But that brings us to Nemesis, which, again,
looks incredible.
Looks awesome, but another controversial topic just from the leaks alone. This all stems back from the first impressions. People still feel the same way. His piano teeth.
He looks goofy. He doesn't look good.
Yeah, he doesn't look good. We think he looks fucking awesome. I think he looks more like horrific.
He looks realistic.
He looks more realistic. I think they're going for an approach where, he's still bandaged up, but he has this arm that we can actually confirm now because of the fact sheet that it does look like he can change his arm. It doesn't say officially.
It doesn't
but
say it's weaponized.
It says that he has an arsenal of weapons.
He has an arsenal
that
of
he's
weapons.
using. So what does that mean? Like an arsenal of weapons, sure as shit sounds more just like tentacles and a rocket launcher like in the original game.
Yeah, flamethrower.
And it also lists that he can track you down as
differently.
well. Differently.
Like multiple ways, more so than Mr. X. It actually quotes that he has more ways to track you down than Mr. X does.
And Mr. X didn't even really like use anything to track you down. He didn't see him use anything.
No, well, he listens. He stops and listens. He has audio to track you, and he has visuals.
Right.
Nemesis has audio, visuals, and maybe he has like cameras.
Now my question is, we know he may be using different weapons.
Yes.
In that photo that we showed and that people have been seeing with him in the fire, is that a flamethrower? Do you think that's a flamethrower? In that particular, because I can see how people can see that because you see his arm and it looks like it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're so blatantly just putting that in our face.
It looks like a flamethrower. I could also see it being the gas station explosion.
People were saying that.
I could also see it being a canister that was shot next to him because it looks like it's like exploding in the process of exploding. I can tell you that no matter which of those three things it is, or if it's something else, I'm cool with it.
I think I'm cool with it too. I don't mind if he has some kind of arm that's like weaponized, and I wouldn't be,
or just equipment.
I was gonna say I wouldn't even be upset if they showed us, more backstory on him and what they decided to do, like when they were operating on him, like how they were doing it. Like that'd be cool if we get like that kind of thing. Because it's like really cool. At the end, you see him at the table, they're injecting him with shit. It's like, what if you just see him load up an arm? Right, like
you know what I mean? Like that's weird.
Is that just for the reveal, or like where are we gonna see that? Are we gonna see in the beginning of the game them prepping Nemesis? Like, are we gonna get cuts of like them entering the city, like all the mercenaries entering the city while Nemesis is being prepped for the STARS members that are still there?
It's interesting. It's an interesting thing,
right? And so it's different. So some people might be like, well, I prefer no weapon arm, normal Nemesis with just tentacles grabbing and potentially sometimes a rocket launcher. But
yeah, well, the original game's still there,
right?
So go have fun,
right? No, exactly. And so with this one, to make him more of a threat in this style, I don't see why this wouldn't work.
No, it does.
And
work.
I'm not against it because I think the Nemesis,
as long as it's not too much,
right?
And like if he has a Gatling gun and he's just fucking.
Well, someone left a comment where they were saying that like, damn guys, you make it seem like you want it to be like extremely hard, and it's like, yeah, that's
because the last one was too easy,
right? And he is the, too easy for some. I can't say it's easy for everyone.
Yeah, he is the second most. He is the prime cream of the crop stalker bioweapon. Capabilities behind only Ustanak, right? Like he's the only other one.
Right.
The Ustanak is the only one that's better than him.
Right.
In what he does.
Exactly.
And he's designed to hunt down. I love his design, how he feels like he's like patched together because he's a prototype.
Right.
It's the first time they're trying that parasite.
And I love the caution tape and the fucking
the T-type.
Yeah, I love it. And
I love the caution tape. I love how his heart seems to be exposed.
Right.
But there's like a metal guard around it.
And that's that tube that goes into him. Like it doesn't look like intestines. It looks a little bit different. Like I like that because I think once people see him in motion and they see him in the game and they see him
and his voice
chanting
sounds great.
stars and his voice sounds great from what we've heard from the demo, even post us talking about Nemesis in the other videos because we didn't hear him yet.
Yeah, because originally he sounded growly.
Right.
Like he was just like stars. Like he sounded like he was just like always like stars.
Right.
But in the new one he's like stars. Like it sounds like he's forcing it out. Like he can't open his mouth all the way.
Right.
Like he's a freak, which is what he is.
Right.
He's not normal.
No.
He's not, you know what I mean? Like he's not.
And he's patched together.
Yeah, he looks like a mummy. Right. He's like mummified together.
And I love that. I love that about him. How do you think they're going to track Jill? Or how he is going to track Jill?
It's a very I don't have it's tough. I don't have very many predictions. I think one of the ways he could do it, which would be interesting, is if he sets some type of trap.
Right.
Like if he sets like noise traps or something.
What else would you like want to see? Like any kind
I
of
want
like
to see him be able,
wishes and hopes.
Yeah, so I would want to see him be able to come after you in the sense that like it's almost like you have to. I want him to be able to come down, like not just like open doors and looking for you, but like let him teleport and be up on the buildings and then just jump down in front of you. Like you're just chilling, you're just exploring, you're like walking, and then he's just there. And you just hear stars, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I think he's going to have grenades.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot they can do with him.
That's why I think we talked about defensive weapons, like smoke grenades would be awesome.
Smoke grenades,
because
I think,
they can
would
counteract,
be really cool.
you know, so like if he's trying to shoot you or throw grenades,
I definitely
he can't
think
see
so.
you.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be
I
really
definitely
cool.
think so.
Yeah, I hope to see something like that where
Smoke grenades.
he has more he's more particular about where he plans it. Like he actually plans out his attacks. You know, his relentless action, you know, having
I think it's important.
yeah, more so than like, you know, one thing we also want to talk about is like, you know, the relentless action versus like, you know, jump scares or horror.
Yes.
You know,
I definitely think that's important.
I think like the way they're going to balance it, what I liked about RE3 and I think I'll like about this game is the balance of that, because I feel like every time he was there, I wasn't like, oh, this is another action part. I was just like, oh, this is just another, you know, intense, very high anxiety chase that I'm forced to go around. And you know, some people are talking about the drops and how they might do that or they might not do that. But
yeah,
like,
somebody was saying how it was like pivotal to them for their experience, for them to be able to knock Nemesis down.
Right.
He's the ultimate bioweapon.
Yeah.
Like he is the in his day, like in his era of bioweapons.
Nemesis is on top.
He's on top.
Right.
There's no reason for him to ever go down.
Right.
Like, and I understand. I would be all for him not following you to certain places, or even like having breaks in between him. Like, say you're fighting him and Nemesis just is like fucks off. Like he's just like fuck you.
Because
like,
sometimes the game wants you to maybe do a puzzle,
Yeah.
or like, you know, the game has to kind of maneuver you in a certain way.
For sure.
And they might sequence it out like that.
Which is fine.
Which is
Nemesis
fine,
doesn't need to be
yeah.
on you all the time.
No.
But there should be a giant red area where he's just free reign, just like Mr. X.
Right. Yeah. There's no reason why this should let up on that. And, you know, they really
And the frost rounds have to come back.
Yeah, frost rounds have to come back for just fighting in general. You know, and I think Nemesis in the city, you know, and how bigger the city is, how bigger Raccoon City is, will play a part into like where he's going to be around every corner and how he's going to show up can be really unique, because you have so much fucking like a broad open area now. It's not just like, you know, I mean, obviously when you're in the RPD, he'll be in there for the small time you're in the RPD. But it's not like Mr. X where it's just like, you know, he's in this one building. Like now he has the whole fucking city that he can literally just hunt you down on. And no matter how far you run, he's finding you because you're a STARS member and you're not getting away. So I like that threat.
Which it's important to note that in the original Resident Evil 3, where he bum rushes you downstairs in the hallway, there is no window to break this time around. So he will be jumping you in places that he did not in the original. Like, that's a given. There's no window to bust down because the window would be inconsistent with 2, so they're not going to do it because now they have the technology to... They have somebody at Capcom who is designed to literally be their continuity person.
Yeah, film does that too all the time.
Continuity.
You know?
It's important, man.
Yeah.
Troll 2 didn't think so.
No, yeah. Troll 2 is not... It did not have continuity.
No, it did not.
Between the shots.
But this one does, and that's really important because Nemesis is going to be around more. Maybe he attacks you in the STARS hallway. That's why all those windows are busted out. You know, there's a lot of things.
Damage that we already
It makes sense
by the showers.
But it makes sense, dude.
Wall.
Yeah, he attacks you in the STARS hallway. You fucking run. You run into the locker room, and he comes through there.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways they could do it.
Right.
If that's him, that doesn't have to be.
If that's him, right? You know, and even if it's not, it's fine. You know, I'm sure he'll have some kind of impact on there. But you know, I'm trying to think of anything else as far as like.
What if
Nemesis.
he just picks up Brad and yeets him through the walls, and then Brad gets up like Dragon Ball, and he's just like, and he just like wipes the blood from his chin, and he's like, "Oh, Nemesis-kun, you come after me?"
Why do you come after me?
I the chicken hot, and he just runs.
Yeah.
Full on anime.
I everything I liked. Again, now I also want to say that we are judging this off of screenshots. We've only seen him in a very dark silhouette walking. They were very, very, very specific to not show him.
They want to hold him for the next trailer.
They do, and that's fine. Because I like that. Less is more, and we do see his eye open on the operating table, and they load his pod up and everything. But I like that they kept it, and his fist.
And he looks ripped.
He looks fucking jacked. But I like the fact that they kept it on the low. They didn't show it a lot. So obviously we can only say so much about Nemesis right now.
He looks more human too. He doesn't have the big ass meaty claws like Mr. X does. He looks like he's just if he grabbed your throat, he'd be just like a big WWE wrestler
grabbing your ass.
It's like the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Maybe they got the Undertaker to do his movements.
Yeah, maybe. It's well, Undertaker maybe 20 years ago. But let's get into Raccoon City, because this is
for sure.
Now that we kind of touched on all the characters so far from the information that we got, again, more bios and more stuff to come. We'll update you guys if more stuff comes out in videos. But the Raccoon City design is huge in this game, as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because RE2 didn't get much of the city. So I'd imagine if you're developing this game alongside 2, knowing how much 2 has little to no city versus the beginning, this has to show a lot more.
Yeah, and it looks
for us to be satisfied. Yeah. I feel like we need to see that.
We got Jazz Night, we got the Bart Jack cinema, the RPD scene in some of the screenshots. Toy Uncle is a new place.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever.
Yeah, it looks like a couple new shops.
Shops.
We'll see what kind of ads are on the Raccoon
There's a
map.
burger thing in one of the screenshots. Kong. Yeah, Burger Kong might be an actual place in this one, which I bring it back. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
There's civilians running around. The streets of Raccoon looks really detailed.
There's barricades broken.
There's sewers.
Right. There is
cool.
Sewers.
Yeah,
right.
which is cool.
Yeah. Which that could be either after you fight the Gravedigger or on the way to the the Dead Factory.
Yeah, the Dead Factory.
So we'll see how that plays into it. Usually the sewers weren't too big in RE3.
No, they weren't.
It was RE2.
They could pad them out, though.
They could pad them out. They could add more. They can add spiders down there.
If they're raccoon sewers, then that's a whole new area.
Right. They can add spiders down there if they wanted to. Not that they would.
If they want to.
They could still leave that stuff cut, but they can add brain suckers down there. They can add the worms down there if they want to add the worms.
Sliding worms, yeah.
Sliding worms. So, a vast majority of this city will be explored, and people rumors that it was going to be kind of like an open world kind of thing, where it's like God of War, for example, where it's linear, but you can still kind of explore around, which is fine.
I doubt it.
But I don't think it's going to play a bigger role. Yeah, you might be able to walk around a bunch of cars in an area.
It might be the area.
If you do it, number one, Nemesis is going to come, so you probably don't want to stay there. You probably want to search a couple cars and see if you can get ammo and get the fuck out of there. Or, number two, it's again on a set path. I don't think it's going to be open.
Yeah, I think it'll be just like
that.
Remake 2, where the first part of the game will be open world for you, and you have to go around and solve puzzles and do things like go here, get a puzzle piece, go here, go here, go here, until you have everything to get into the park. And then once you go to the park, will be the next area.
Right.
It'll be very similar to Resident Evil Remake.
And you got to get everything to for the trolley car, on the second area of the game. So the first thing that we should be doing.
And it does show it crashing, so they're keeping that. They're keeping the clock. They're keeping the same events, which is important.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. And I can't wait to see that clock tower fight. It's gonna be amazing. But the thing is, though, seeing these environments and seeing everything in this in a way of the main heart of the city being just infested with zombies and there's no way out, and I just wonder where the fuck are you gonna get all this ammo to kill everyone? You can't. So that's really where it comes to
Well, in this one, since it's going to be the early stages of the outbreak, you would think there'd be more ammo than when Leon comes around, because when Leon comes around, there's still enough ammo to pick up, and Claire.
Right.
You would think that during the initial
the latter
outbreak,
half of that,
I wouldn't be surprised if Kendo's gun shop is pretty early in the game.
Right.
And what if he just gives you a shit ton of ammo?
I could see that.
And then that's all you can pick up for a while.
Yeah.
Because in the trailer, when she's running from Nemesis, I thought this was really weird. But when she trips and falls, some people were saying like he like tentacle whipped her and tripped her.
But we didn't hear anything?
Not
And
only did we not
you
hear
don't see
anything,
it?
but at that point, Nemesis doesn't really use the tentacle like that. That's like later when he gets like the longer ones.
Right.
It also doesn't. He kind of looks like he's leaned over, but like the way Jill falls, there's nothing wrapped around her.
Right.
Like
it
you
just
see
seemed like
her
she
feet,
fumbled. Like,
so she fumbled or tripped over something. One of the things that I thought was pretty interesting though is it looks like she drops a couple of things, and in the shot, if you slow it down, it looks like she drops handgun bullets. And it looks like she drops a hand grenade. So it's possible that maybe in the opening parts of the game, you're like equipped with this stuff that you would pick up and stuff before he comes in. And while you're running away from him, you actually lose your inventory.
right.
Which is just speculation. It's not like saying it's going to happen, but
Right.
it's possible that maybe there's going to be a dropping mechanics.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll get all the ammo in the beginning and then you're just fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
If you run out, GG.
GG, man. But, you know, I think it's important because, you know, sometimes, like, some people wonder, like, you know, what should I do? Should I run or fight, like, Nemesis and stuff? There's going to be some kind of system to where, you know, you can probably run it. If you don't get rewarded for killing them, then, you know.
I think going
have to,
all the
but-
way back to our show about RE2 when we were talking about Nemesis and how Nemesis wouldn't work without fixed camera angles, I think going all the way back to that show,
I think it was even before the show.
it was before that, yeah. I think going all the way back to whichever one we did, I remember saying the only like one of the cool ways they could make it work is if they make him come at you a lot.
Right.
I think they're going to do that. He's going to just be there. You're going to turn the camera and he's just going to be there.
Yeah.
And you're just going to hear...
And it, like, again,
dun.
if you hated Mr. X,
No, we said it.
we say all the time. If
We
you
said it
hated,
day one.
Yes.
I said, if you hate Mr. X, I can't wait to fucking see Nemesis.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Cry?
Right.
You're
I can't stand someone chasing me. Well, you're playing as a STARS member.
playing a survival horror game.
Yeah, you're playing as a STARS member with a BOW that's chasing STARS members. Well, I don't know how you're going to get around that. But no, I mean, come on, guys.
Wait, do you think he'll chase you? Because
Yeah.
isn't his nickname the Pursuer?
Right.
Oh, so why would people expect anything other than that?
Right, I don't
I don't
know.
really understand.
And it's almost like, you
Not
know,
to be sarcastic and a dick, but come on, guys.
Right, yeah. He's that persistent in the original game, and if they make him more persistent, it's not going to make the game like
Yeah, could you
that hard.
And
you
don't
know?
forget,
drop
too,
set difficulty if you have to.
we didn't even think about this, but in the original game, he can actually follow you
Yeah.
from camera angle to camera angle.
And what if they make him so he can knock down more doors now?
In this one, he doesn't need to wait for the camera angle.
No.
He's just coming through.
No, because you have that camera angle would have to be off that door that he enters in, so it could just be like, and he just
Dun, dun,
appears.
dun.
So it's like now it's like he literally cannot just. What if he just breaks down fucking doors, and all of them, and that makes it so hard, like more zombies that you don't kill.
We
can
mentioned
fumble
this, yeah.
through
They can come
the
through.
doors, like make it harder like that. The challenge is there, man. I mean, if you're not going to up the challenge, then what's the fucking point? And
Yeah.
if it's too hard, drop it. Set on
Drop the
standard.
difficulty, yeah.
Drop it on standard. If normal,
We'll be playing it on hardcore,
That's it, man. You
and
know?
we're going to cream pie it.
Yeah, we might suck at first, but
Yeah,
we'll
which is
get it.
fine. Well, we're going to be soaking it in, so if we die a lot...
It's
like,
first
that's-
impressions,
that's
right?
fun,
Just like
yeah.
how you would in the original. You know, you might die a lot, and you know, getting used to it, like, you know, it's going to be one of those things that people will have to get used to. But that's what the game is about, and I stand by them to keep it like that.
Me
You
too.
know, for sure.
Me too. Enemies is next.
Right.
We don't really see a lot.
Not much.
We have zombies. What looks to be either a beta hunter or a
we missed it the first trailer.
yeah, very fast.
It literally happens like I don't even know the timestamp, but it's so fast we had to slow it down. Where you think it looks like a hunter.
It looks like a hunter. Some people are saying brain sucker. We were kind of going back and forth.
Right.
50% of the chat says it's definitely a brain sucker, and anybody who thinks it's a hunter is an idiot. And then the other 50 says it's definitely a hunter, and anybody who thinks it's a brain sucker is an idiot. I'm pretty sure there's somebody who said it was both. I don't know what that means.
Some kind of hybrid that we don't know
he
about.
might be drunk. I don't know. But it was. There was one person, and bless this person. I'm not going to name them because I don't remember their name anyway. But there was one person in the comments who thought it was the Gravedigger.
Oh, damn!
I just
well,
wanted
that thing looked like it was walking on feet. So
It's the Gravedigger. I was like, excuse me?
Wow, that's some new form of gravedigger.
I mean, I guess
hey man.
that person must be blind, but
Hey, yeah.
you know what? It's fine. It has a reptile eye, a reptilian eye, so it looks like a beta hunter.
It's really quick. Like you can easily miss it if you don't pay attention.
I think they're gonna get rid of the gamma hunters.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get rid of the frog boys, dude.
Hmm.
I feel like they're gonna keep betas. They're gonna get rid of either drain or brain suckers. They'll probably keep the drain demos because they're the cooler name.
Right.
I just have a feeling they're going to dumb them down a little bit. Just a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit.
Well, we talked about this, and, we still didn't see or know if there's lickers in this game.
Yeah.
And if they added the lickers in the game, are they going to keep the brain suckers? Are they going to substitute brain suckers or drain demos for the lickers?
Well, they'd have to put lickers in the second half.
Right. So we don't know what they decided to do. We haven't seen one or the other, but we can assure you that whatever the fuck that was in that trailer, that was a new design of something.
It was a new design of either. It looked to me like their fingers were really long and sharp.
Right.
It looks like a beta hunter. If so, that might be the best redesign since Carlos.
Yeah.
That might be a really good enemy design.
I'm going to go with that. It's some kind of hunter.
I think it's a hunter.
I'm going to go with that until we see something more on that. I'd assume that might be something they want to keep under wraps until further notice, so we'll see. But,
I think it's going to be the hunter.
We haven't seen any other enemies, though.
No.
As of yet.
I mean, there's not really many more.
Right.
It's just the brain sucker, the drain demos, and the
and I'm still
gamma.
I'm still standing by spiders and crows being cut. So
I'm still standing by that too.
yeah.
I think crows will be something like you can see,
or they might
but
be
they're not
around
gonna
the clock
attack you.
tower like they
yeah,
were.
but they're not going to. They're probably not going to attack you.
Right.
They're probably just going to be flying around. You'll be able to hear them. We already know what zombie dogs and zombies look like. It does look like we're getting more variations of zombies, but it does look like some of them are the same.
Right.
From RE2. So somebody was like, I want all new zombies. And if you put another zombie in the game that's from Resident Evil 2 Remake, you're a lazy shithead. And I was like, have you played any of the old games?
Yeah. Yeah. They're recycled over and over.
There is a
again.
Resident Evil zombie that is in Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'm pretty sure is in the first game.
Yeah.
The lab coat zombie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From Resident Evil 2, the original.
Yeah.
Carried all the way over.
Yeah. But, it depends on how they do it. It just depends on how they do it.
Some more variations always cool.
Right.
I would like to see, since they have all these brands and stuff, I would like to see some zombies wearing different brands, like the raccoon sharks and stuff.
Right.
I think it would be really cool just to kind of switch it up a little bit. They don't have to change the faces or anything.
Right.
Just put them in different outfits.
Different wardrobe,
It looked like a lot of the civilians that were running by had unique wardrobes.
Right. And, I think with,
You think the Gravedigger will return? Not to cut you off, but
oh, no.
Just to wrap up the enemies.
No, yeah, the enemies, I think the Gravedigger would return. I think that sinkhole is another sinkhole.
Yeah.
I don't think that sinkhole is the sinkhole we were thinking of.
From Remake 2.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's possible.
I don't know, man. I think the Gravedigger is going to make an appearance.
I just think it's weird that they said sinkhole,
I get it, but dude, I don't know.
I think the Gravedigger will be in the game.
I'm
don't
keeping
think
high hopes.
I don't think he'll be like he was.
Right.
I think he'll be like the
It might be
alligator.
dumbed down a little bit, but yeah, I still like to see it, even if it's a short area in the park.
Maybe
but that'd be
Carlos
cool
has
if
to do
during
it.
the game, the ground shakes and Jill holds on to something. She's like, "What the fuck is that?" And then it happens.
They're gonna be able to curse.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Jill didn't curse in the
Jill
original.
didn't cuss. No.
But now Jill's gonna be
she's
like,
foul mouth
Umbrella's
initiated.
the reason why all this fucking happened, Carlos.
Yeah. She's like, Carlos, wake the fuck up. Smell the roses.
You know, it'd be really cool if after you left the gun shop, you got to see Ben. And Ben was like,
yeah,
smoking a Marlboro 100 like he is in the thing, and he's just like, yeah, because I was about to blow the whistle on his fucking ass, and then he locked me up here. I'd do the same thing too. Get me the fuck out of here!
Come on, everyone wants to know about the orphanage. Well, that brings us to
the orphanage.
Yeah, or we're gonna see anything else with that?
Probably not.
No, but weapons.
Yeah, so the weapons. There's actually a lot to talk about.
Yes, there is.
Not
we,
really.
We did a not really.
Not really, but
we
there's
did
a lot.
video as to
Yeah.
what we would like to see return in
For
what
sure.
in what way. So we did do a separate video on that. But what we do see is not Jill's traditional Beretta.
No, it's a Glock.
It's a Glock.
Glock.
Glock, which
from
is probably
Resident
going
Evil
to be
7. Same model.
Same model. It's probably going to be upgraded.
Yes. Well, no, it definitely is going to be upgraded. And one of the screenshots in the sewer, you actually can see the Glock
Extended clip.
has an extended clip. Yeah. And I was looking through the screenshots earlier today, and I noticed that.
Right.
Like, oh
right.
my god.
That's my first time seeing that. Wow.
Yeah. So it's there's an extended clip. We have the screenshots pulled up in front of us, but it's an extended clip on that one. And then the shotgun looks like it's customized too. So weapon parts are definitely returning.
Right.
They're probably going to return the same way as they did in Remake 2. Well, they didn't. Well, they kind of returned, I guess, in Remake 2 because they had the custom Magnum and stuff. But they're going to be upgrades to your regular weapon arsenal.
Sights, clips.
I feel like if it's more realistic that she has a smaller
Right.
arsenal, but with upgradable stuff.
And I'm sure there'll be like safes and stuff that we can probably like look at or find that has those parts in it.
Question.
Yes.
It's completely possible because we haven't seen it yet. But what do you think if they cut the grenade launcher altogether? Do you think that would be a big deal to the fan base? I think it would be. I think they'd be like, I'm never jerking off again.
Oh shit. No. If they did it, that would suck. Number one, why would you do that? Because RE2 had it. But
Yeah.
number three, it's like
Because don't you think that would be what they would show us?
right, but like
You know?
but
I'm not saying they're cutting it. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
no.
what would you do?
I'm not saying that either. I would, if anything, I wouldn't really be happy about it, but I would be okay if they did substitute it with something else.
Yeah.
That was just as good, if better.
I hope we get the
I wouldn't hold it against it, but like I would like to see a grenade launcher.
Yeah. I like to see a grenade launcher, a
Mine
shotgun,
thrower would be good.
a mine thrower, a Glock, freeze rounds, and smoke grenades.
Right.
I think that's all we need. And a
Defensive
magnum. Some type
weapons.
of magnum.
And then, not confirmed because we haven't seen it, but we can assume that gunpowder will make a return.
Yeah.
If it was in 7 and 2, chances are it's going to be in this one.
Yeah, and there's a defensive knife that she has in a lot of the screenshots. So
Right.
it's almost guaranteed those defensive items are returning. We just don't know if there's going to be any additives or if there's just going to be the same lineup.
Right. Yeah, we don't know. And hopefully, again, there'll be plenty of parts and plenty of stuff we can pick up with this list of weapons that we get in the city, because we can be exposed to more weapons. I'm sure we'll have the same kind of numbered weapons like we did in 2. You know, Carlos might have access to a couple different ones that Jill doesn't, and vice versa, which is fine. And, giving us enough for the battle, but also not overwhelming us with a bunch of ammo, like still making it sparing, which is important. I
think the inventory system will make a return as well.
Right. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Just as a side note.
Yeah.
Especially with the side packs.
Right. And, I don't really know if we have anything else on weapons, at the moment. Besides, we did do an in-depth weapon discussion video on just weapons, so you can go back and catch
where we
that.
talked about Resident Evil 3, the original.
And what weapons we would like to see return.
Which weapons we would like to see return.
If Nemesis would drop, weapon parts, can we make other weapons?
Yeah.
Would it even make sense? If I would be fine if they stopped all Nemesis drops, but they still had weapon parts for like one gun and another, and they keep them really well hidden, unlike the normal upgrades.
Like secret weapons.
Right, secret weapons. And like
the Wesker at Magnum.
Right,
where
and
you
then
have to get the film.
maybe if you took down Nemesis at said part, that weapon will be there or might not just appear there. You might see a crate just appear in a save room. If you didn't kill Nemesis on this interaction, it might not be there.
Yeah.
Little things like that, it might not make like sense.
Yeah.
But it's still like more practical than Nemesis dropping an ammo case every single time, because that's been another topic of conversation between us, but also just like everyone's like, how are they gonna do the weapon drops? What if they keep it? Like, it'd be cool if they kept it. What if they did something like that where it's not so blatant in front of your face, but it will appear like in your next, like in an area you have to pass, and then all right, well, I
or
got
just
A
put
and B.
the weapon stuff in secret spots where it's harder to get. Like Nemi's going to be chasing.
Right.
you.
I just like the reward factor.
I do
where
like
it's
the
like
reward
maybe it will
factor.
be there if you took the time to like kill them versus just running the whole time, and they're gonna still give you this nice fucking
Game has to game, and I get that.
Right.
I think that the reward for downing Nemesis. The reward for downing Nemesis should be that he's not chasing you for a little bit.
Right.
That's enough.
Right.
Like, to me.
No, yeah, that's enough for me too.
Then if you hide the things, it would be pretty cool if they were just harder to find.
Right. And I'd be fine with them just doing that.
Yeah.
Where you would have to find it, and like no reward system for Nemesis. They're just there regardless of what you do. That's fine. I just like that idea. They might just be like, no, there's no weapon parts. You'll just have upgrades, and then you get what you get. I will be fine with that too.
Well, upgrades and weapon parts are the same.
Right, I know, but it's like more so like we might not get like how we did in
Custom made.
Yeah. So like that's the main thing. Would I like to see it? Yeah. Am I gonna like really bitch about it as much? Not really.
And the Beretta should be unlockable.
It should be.
Like we got to be able to get the samurai.
Right.
Edge.
And
it's in fucking Remake too.
Now
there's no reason Jill shouldn't have it. You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
one nitpick I will say right off the bat.
Right.
The Glock's a little weird when the fact that her actual
it literally says Jill's gun.
Yeah, it's actually the Jill model. It says. Yeah, like that should just be in the game. Now, if that's in the Stars locker room and that's the upgrade handgun,
then that makes
sense.
Right.
If it's just something that you get,
or what she's able to grab,
yeah,
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think we'll see that, and maybe with some more like mini games or side games, like we'll be able to unlock infinite ammo for guns or get certain guns like that we couldn't get before, and that also brings us into resistance being the extra mode.
Yes.
And
kind of the final part of this podcast.
Yeah, the final part of the podcast.
Before we get into resistance, I have a question though.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be more DLC? Or do you think it's one and done?
I think there'll be more DLC. Because of Capcom's tradition, 7, 2 had DLC, and this, 100% I think will add DLC.
I think Mad Jackal's
hope Mad Jackal, we want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Tying into what we just said with the unlockables and stuff, how Mad Jackal you could play to get a lot of points and currency to like spend in the store and get an infinite rocket launcher.
I think that should come back.
That should come back.
More unlockables.
More unlockables, way more unlockables, or even if you dumb back on the unlockables and make other stuff unlockable.
Just make it so you can
play it. I just want to play
so you can unlock everything for infinite ammo.
Now, if they did Mercenaries, should they keep it the same? Should they keep it where it's like, should they keep it like Mercs like we know now? Because RE3 Mercs is way different than RE4 Mercs, where you're collecting time. You're not killing to gain time. Should they keep it the same? Or would you want them to kind of either make it their own or make it like a raid mode?
I like the No Way Out scenario in RE2 where they just keep coming.
I like that.
I think that would be really cool. I think they should let you do that, but I think they should let you do that with a buddy. And you should be able to pick between Jill, Leon, Claire, Carlos. Like they should bring over Leon and Claire since their data's already there. Marvin maybe, and be able to play with buddies, kind of like a Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies,
right? Where
like it's Raccoon City, like you're in the streets of Raccoon City. I think that a mode like that would be cool. Mad Jackal, I hope comes back because it's an original thing. Since Extreme Battle Mode didn't, I doubt it. Like
that's the only thing that I'm scared of.
I doubt it will come back. It's not a game breaker for me because I really do think Resistance is going to be really fun.
We're gonna say it too. We don't want to like completely shy away from Resistance because we were the couple in the community that were positive about it initially, and we do look forward to playing it and seeing what it has to offer. And I think it's going to be a bunch of replay value to RE3
for sure.
And the fact you just brought up a good point. The fact that we didn't see Extreme Battle Mode does limit our chances of Mad Jackal. However,
I mean, it does. Extreme Battle Mode's a little weird. Like in this gameplay format, it would be hard to do.
Right. I wonder what the reasoning is behind it. It's probably
it's just that.
Some just doesn't make sense. But I was going to ask you. So, you know how they added some story elements? I mean, with 2 we had the what if.
The what if scenarios.
With 7 we had story stuff. What if they added, like I know you didn't like the idea of like initial like Carlos scenario, but what if we did get extra modes that involved Carlos or maybe another,
as long as it's canon,
or even like a hunk kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like what if we did get something like that?
I think it would be cool to get a Nikolai side of
even
things.
Mikhail, dude. I'd like to play Mikhail.
I think it would be cool to do that. I also think it would be cool to do Carlos's events leading up to the beginning of RE3 where he's like landing.
Right. If we don't initially see it like in the game, or if we only see it in the game as a cutscene, we can actually play it.
Yeah.
You're not opposed to that.
If we can play Carlos in the main story, it doesn't belong in the game. If we can't play Carlos in the main story, then give us that.
Right.
As long as it's canon. If it's just a what if scenario,
then it might still be fun.
It might still be fun, but I don't care about it.
Right. Because it's just kind of like there.
Exactly.
Right. That's how I feel about the RE2 stuff. Not that the RE2 DLC was bad.
No, they're all fun.
I liked it way more than 7.
The Hunk one's fun.
Yeah. And I like that they brought back Tofu and Hunk.
And Tofu's awesome.
Back that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Resistance is going to give us a lot a lot of
for
stuff.
sure. And
we
you
can
know,
play it
you
with
could bet your
guys,
ass
too.
they're gonna put RE3 content in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They just haven't done it yet.
You don't want to show us any of that
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot of stuff in that. The
So
yellow
much.
herbs in that game.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in that game, and it's gonna be cool.
And it's going to be cool to really play it with you guys, too.
Yeah,
Keep
but
in
we're gonna
mind,
be
like,
playing with you guys.
It's online, so who's going to be the best mastermind in Survivors? We'll see. But,
The whole stream turns into everyone versus me.
Yeah.
And they just can't. Nobody can win. It's just like, how
this
are you
goes on
so
forever.
good with Nemesis? I don't know, but beat me. I'm tired.
He's broken. But
I'm just in the corner punching Dylan.
Yeah. Danger Dylan.
Danger Dylan.
But yeah, I think that's it. I mean, that really wraps it up for this Resident Evil pre-release show. In regards to everything as of December 16th. So
Yeah.
as of this recording, we kind of got through all of our notes, got through all the details. My final thoughts for this right now, I would say everything that I've seen so far has been phenomenal. I'm really excited to see where they take these characters. I'm really excited to see how we're going to see this new universe unfold and how we're going to see the ending of this Raccoon City trilogy. I mean, I'm just thinking about the destruction of Raccoon City in this way and like how it's probably going to give me chills. It's going to be incredible. And
Raccoon City
I
saga.
just can't believe that we're seeing it finally, and I'm so happy that everything we've seen so far is living up to one of my favorite games of all time. So
You know what I'm excited for? When the bomb goes off, it won't be a fucking image.
oh my god. It's not just going to be like
It's gonna be a still image.
it's like a shitty image like
It's actually going to be like, and then like an impact.
well, we did see it in 3, but it was like
with the bomb drop. It was a fucking image. It was
well,
like,
at the end it was, but you
Yeah.
saw like the waves like
yeah,
blow out the
you get to
cars
see
and
the
shit.
waves. You get to see the waves.
But imagine that like now
In
it's
now's
so much
engine.
better.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
awesome.
fucking so much better. So yeah, I'm really excited
It's
to
gonna be
that.
so awesome.
And those are my final words. And like again, like I'm really happy to share this moment.
There is another thing. For those of everybody who stuck around, this is like super important, and we fucking missed it. we talked about it. We just didn't talk about it. Knowing what we know with Remake 2 and their design choices and stuff, do you think they're going to keep Nemesis's final form? Or do you think they're going to make him more of a grounded person? Because they did keep Birkin's, but a lot of Birkin's forms are different.
That is true.
Like, do you think they're going to make him that big mush that's just like slithering around with the railgun?
I think they might redesign him a little bit, but I think that he might be in that form where after Type 2, he's just like, I think in the Dead Factory, if he gets dumped with all the other body parts the same way, I think they can easily keep it, but they might redesign a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep it. Definitely, because a lot people that there's a theme that plays when you get it on the PSN right now.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the final form music
Yeah.
of Nemesis. So people are saying that it's possibly still in there. Now, of course, they can add the music and just change its design.
For sure.
But I have faith that they'll keep it. And I
I
hope
think they will
do.
too.
hope
I think they
do.
will too. I was just
I hope
wondering.
they
I
do.
was curious.
No, that's a good question. And again, because this is a time where they do
Because how would that-
redesigns to
how would-
readjust
you know,
to the
yeah.
new engine. Yeah, like how would they do it? Like how can they pull it off? And I like that
That's
challenge.
going to be a long boss fight.
It's gonna be fucking long.
Because, like, you're
it's not
fighting
just gonna be
him-
like push the batteries in and it's done. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's gonna be like there'll be a rail gun, but like there's gonna be more to that. Maybe that whole fucking room will be bigger, like
Yeah.
a lot bigger, to where he can jump and it's more of a threat. Because honestly, like the boss fight at the end of 3 is fucking easy.
It's super easy.
It's so easy.
He's
So,
like unlimited rocket launcher final Birkin easy.
yeah.
Even Birkin has more combos than he
Unless
does.
you get caught in a shitty spot or you don't have like the right health, like sure. But like as soon as you get a hole in that wall and you damage him enough to where the railgun can just shoot him like a couple times, like it's done.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't think I've ever been hit by that boss.
Yeah, no, it's hard to.
I don't think I've
It's
ever
hard
been
to.
hit by the
The
final.
most thing that he does if he doesn't whip you is he spits the acid on the ground and you can walk over it and then it hurts you.
Yeah.
But like he doesn't. It's just like
You only have to hit him twice with the railgun.
Right.
I don't even think you have to shoot him.
Nemesis is more threatening with Type 2 and Type 1. So I hope they make this one as threatening.
You know
that
what'd
would
be cool
mine.
too? this is like this is so much extra content for them, but
Sure.
like at the end. But it would be cool if like part of the Easter egg with the rocket launcher would be like when he has the rocket launcher, when he gets them and he's getting them supplied from Umbrella. It would be cool if like if you choose to fight him and you shoot it a bunch of times, it just explodes and you can't use it anymore.
Yeah. No, I like that. And same thing with like if you could shoot the rockets
or his flamethrowers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can like that would be cool if there's a way
to disarm him,
or like slow down his weapons, or like if you
freeze rounds.
Right, the freeze rounds could easily lock up his weapons. Like that'd be cool. But I really hope that we get to keep some kind of freeze rounds or grenade launcher. I hope that it doesn't get cut, dude.
I don't think
all the things on the table. I hope we get that. At least give us the flame and the grenades and acid and not it. But you gotta get bring back the freeze.
The grenade's gone. Hashtag bring back the freeze.
Yes, and if you're listening, this far into the podcast, comment down below, what you think of everything so far, and what did you think of our discussion. And then also just put hashtag Jill's miniskirt.
Yep, hashtag Jill's miniskirt.
Let us know you listened this
far.
Hashtag
bring back the freeze.
And hashtag bring back the
and
freeze.
I'm going to spell it because there's plenty of viewers who didn't apparently hear it. Hashtag BRINGBACKTHEFREEZE. Again,
bring the freeze.
Type it. Hashtag freeze the bring. Okay, bring the freeze, bring back freeze. There were so many different people, dude.
Bring back the freeze.
They're just, and even one of our viewers even commented all of them as like a meme. He's like hashtag, and it's just like hashtag bring the freeze, bring back the freeze.
That's amazing.
But yeah, just as you're listening to this comment, just type it. Hashtag Jill's miniskirt. Hashtag bring back the freeze.
Yes.
Hashtag better Carlos.
Yes. And and if you're listening to this, I already probably plugged it in the beginning, but don't forget to download it on the free MP3 on Libsyn, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. It is not iTunes anymore, but I'm still going to call it iTunes, but it's Apple Podcasts. It's all for free. So just make sure you go back and check out our back catalog. If you're listening to this, we have a bunch of episodes, even ones that aren't even on the streaming services that we have recorded years ago, back in 2013 when the show started. And, thank you all for your continued support. This whole RE3 launch and run so far has been amazing, and your support has been overwhelming. And, all of us at LTRE really appreciate it. And, we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So we really appreciate it. And that's it for this episode of the show. We do have another show coming out this month on our likes and dislikes of Resident Evil. So I will plug that. We did want to put this Resident Evil 3 show out first.
Yes.
Because of the relevance of the news and everything like that, and for the sake of the content. So for now on, you guys every month are getting 2 podcasts a month. And we also have an SD Perry interview to stay tuned for. So this is the first time you've heard us actually talk about it. That is happening. That is coming. So an SD Perry interview. So she wasn't on the microphone. She wanted to type everything up. She was a shy individual, so she didn't want to get on a microphone or call or anything like that. But we were able to get some really cool answers, so we're going to do some cool stuff about that, and maybe you guys can learn something about the Resident Evil novels that you guys never knew. And we're big fans of the S.D. Perry novels, so this is a really cool opportunity. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably be out in like January. Just to tease it, I wanted to tease it a little bit. We wanted to come out this month, but because we did the RE3 show and we have the likes and dislikes show that we recorded a few weeks ago, we have a plethora of content. And then obviously this Tuesday, we're going to be streaming. By the time you hear this, tomorrow, it should be tomorrow or later in the day, we are going to be starting our Resident Evil Legacy streams, where we're streaming all of the Resident Evil games leading up to April, which is Resident Evil 3. So we are giving you marathon streams, marathon content of everything leading up to Resident Evil 3. And,
yes, and don't forget, like he just said, the Resident Evil Legacy stream series. It's coming.
Yes, and stay on the community tab.
Yes,
stay on the social media tab so you know when we're streaming, what time we're streaming, what days we're streaming. Usually it's going to be Tuesdays, possibly Friday nights sometimes, and we're going to be letting you know what's going on with that. And I think we got everything else plugged. Just stay tuned for more, and until next time, guys.
Until next time.
Goodbye.
Jill, over here! could this many people be infected?
This city is completely cut off, isolated.
Don't look at me like that, alright? I'm not infected.
But right now it's got a hard-on for the only 2 stars left in town.
They don't need a bleeding heart like you getting in the way.
Star's office has to be in this direction.
Gets worse every night.
They don't want the world to know what they've done.
Oh, my head.
What's wrong with Umbrella?
I can't stop them all!
You gotta get out of there!
You guys are the ones who caused all of this!
No, wait! Oh, come on.
We've gotta be dreaming.
Commitment, honesty, integrity, these are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella Corp.